Chapter 2249. Bai Weiwei licked the best quality divine face all night. Finally, she endured the pain and let the system apply a red mark on her face that was so light that it was almost invisible. Then she pretended to be a dog to deal with state affairs. The eldest princess wasn't an idiot. She was just too proud. Her ability couldn't compare to her mother. Only when her mother, this huge protective shield, died, so many people dared to set their sights on her. Stepping on her to climb up, they could directly climb to the center of the imperial power and control the entire power structure. Who wouldn't be moved, especially at the most critical moment of seizing power? Several princes were eyeing the throne. Only with power in their hands could they stand in the imperial power. There were even many people with rebellious thoughts like Li Mo, stealing the princess's power and then supporting the 3-year-old prince to be the regent. Li Mo was only the most powerful and thick-skinned of them all. As the military commander, his power was at the peak of the military officer group. In addition, he had always been victorious in his early years and was the leader of the army. But Li Mo had a deep mind and left the army early to return to the imperial court. It was to reassure the emperor. But Weiwei Bai knew that Li Mo still had a lot of people in the army. If it really came down to it and Li Mo really wanted to rebel, he had the capital. In addition, every time the system asked her to capture someone, it was a proud son of heaven. So Weiwei Bai was very sure that someone like Li Mo was the model of a protagonist. In the end, he could succeed in whatever he wanted. And he was narcissistic and proud, bursting with self-confidence, powerful leadership, and off-the-charts charisma. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so popular now. After all, in this dynasty, aristocratic status was very important. Li Mo came from a small official's family, and it was as hard as ascending to heaven to succeed with this identity. Weiwei Bai looked at the report while thinking about Li Mo's personality. She had the system take care of everything on the report. Amen, Tongzi said, as long as she didn't hug the mirror and ask him if she was beautiful every day. He took care of all the chores. When Weiwei Bai thought of this, she suddenly said, "Little darling." The system trembled and immediately said, "You are very beautiful, the most beautiful person in the world. You are so beautiful that anyone who sees you would be blinded by your beauty. Are you satisfied? If you are, then don't ask." After being bombarded for 10 hours, it was a question of whether the host was beautiful or not. The system felt like its ears were about to rebel. Weiwei Bai was silent for a moment before saying, "I just want to ask you, what is Li Mo doing?" The system turned to look at the male lead. "Oh, he's setting up a trap." Weiwei Bai asked, "A trap?" The system said, "They probably know that you're going to the temple to pray for blessings today, so they're trying to lure a few bandit leaders to rob your carriage." After listening, Bai Weiwei was deeply speechless. Finally, she said, "It smells like the blood of an old wine. A hero saving a damsel in distress, self-directed and self-acting." This technique was too familiar. Looking at Li Mo was like looking at herself. The little white flower, Li Mo. It was an indescribable feeling. Knowing that it was a trap, Weiwei Bai, of course, had to go take a look. Thus, after dressing up plainly and wearing a veil, she got on a luxurious carriage and headed to the most famous Da'en temple. Every month, in the middle of the month, the eldest princess would go to Da'en temple to pray for the sick emperor. However, the eldest princess rarely went herself. Most of the time, she would let the servants go and add incense money. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click say below to record this reading. Chapter 2250. This was also a show of respect, making people feel that she was filial. Weiwei Bai had just gotten on the carriage when a spy quickly spread the news. After the strategist received the news, he said to the youth behind him who was picking out clothes, "Seems like luck is on our side. This time, the Princess Royal is going in person. I thought I would miss again." After he finished speaking, no one behind him answered. Fang Qingyun turned around and saw Li Mo with his back to him, hesitating. "Do you think I look better in silver or black?" Li Mo suddenly picked up 2 sets of clothes and asked his strategist. The counselor was silent. Was his function to pick out clothes for his lord? Then Fang Qingyun sighed deeply. "Black then." Li Mo's eyes lit up. "I also think black is good. It brings out my handsome and powerful side. Fang Qingyun said, No, you still have to fight bandits later. Black is dirt-resistant. Liamo, Fang Qingyun said helplessly, You love beauty so much. What if someone seduces you with beauty and you fall for it? Liamo put the clothes on himself, his cold brows carrying a trace of wild disdain. Is there anyone in this world who is more beautiful than me? Fang Qingyun, Liamo touched his face. Look at me. Don't go against your conscience. I am so handsome that even the princess has a crush on me. Which beauty can seduce me? Fang Qingyun, he gave up on treating Liamo. Liamo was unfortunately a person who was obsessed with looks. Fortunately, this face-obsessed patient was only satisfied with her own looks, so there was no need to worry about someone seducing him with beauty. Liamo put on his clothes and tied his belt. His thin waist and beautiful figure were like floating clouds and flowing water. He tied his high ponytail and casually picked up his bow and walked out. All right, I'm going to fish for the princess. Wait for my good news. His voice was like a clear spring, full of vitality and unparalleled beauty. Fang Qingyun silently calculated his lord's assets. It was enough to fish for the princess. If one ignored Liamo's ruthless, gloomy, cruel, and scheming heart, his appearance was indeed very good at fooling people. After all, anyone would like a pure and sunny person. Therefore, Fang Qingyun calmly opened the chessboard and slowly played Go. The imperial family was in a turbulent situation. While everyone was fighting for power and profit, he had to seek more benefits for his lord, and the princess was the best stepping stone. At Dean Temple, Wei Wei Bai offered incense. The maidservant beside her immediately brought water over to help her wash her hands. After Wei Wei Bai washed her hands unhurriedly, she wiped them clean with a handkerchief. She looked like an elegant member of the royal family. He was actually chatting with the system. Are there many bandits? The system replied, Not a lot. After all, it's just a robbery. If it's too much, we'll need to mobilize the army. If it's too big, it won't do us any good. Wei Wei Bai nodded and was about to say something. Suddenly, a few monks and guards ran in. Your Highness, please quickly go to the backyard. Bandits are attacking. She didn't bring many guards with her, so they couldn't stop the bandits' attack. Everyone's expression changed, but Wei Wei Bai remained calm. The maidservant hid first, and the guards blocked the bandits. Then, she let the guards send out fireworks. After all this was done, the guard screams could be heard, and the bandits' shouts could be heard. Wei Wei Bai's expression changed, and she immediately ran to the backyard. Her long dress was like a cloud. Download the at https://m/com button at the bottom to record your reading record. Next time you open the bookshelf, you'll see it, if you like. Chapter 2251. Liamo, who was following closely behind, killed a few bandits and ran into the temple from outside. He saw the back of Bai Weiwei's white dress and jade bracelet as she floated away. It was all planned out. He would land in front of the princess like a god and kill those bandits. But the princess only saw his back. She did not see his heroic side. Liamo felt pity. He casually used his bow to hit the head of one of the bandits. Then his thin lips curled into a smirk. Run. I'll see where you can run to. She was just a clown who had a crush on him, obediently giving him her power. He could also give her some benefits, such as letting her feel his fingers. Wei Wei Bai ran into the back of the mountain. It was full of osmanthus trees. The flowers were all in bloom this season. Bai Weiwei hid behind an osmanthus tree. She uneasily hugged herself with both hands, her pair of clear eyes containing a hint of panic. The system said, He's not here yet. Wei Wei Bai said, Let me get into character first, or else I'll laugh. The system, Wei Wei Bai had just finished her words when she heard footsteps, heavy on purpose. She held her breath and hid behind the tree, not daring to move. Liamo had already seen the corner of her dress. Under his long eyelashes, those beautiful eyes did not have the usual gentle smile. Instead, it was a cold and gloomy predator. His thin lips curled into a malicious smile. He casually raised the bow in his hand, knocked an arrow, then turned around and casually shot a bandit who caught up. Sure enough, The bandit's scream made the girl behind the tree tremble. As if he wanted to destroy the mind of his prey, Li Imo took the bandit's knife unhurriedly. Then he walked towards Wei Wei Bai's tree with heavy footsteps, slashing randomly with the knife. The swishing sound of the knife cutting through the trees was a real example of ruthlessly destroying flowers. It would be best if he could scare the princess and make her cry. When he appeared again, he would be like a hero. He would guarantee that the princess would hug him and cry and give herself to him. Liamo thought maliciously, slowly approaching the girl behind the tree. He threw the knife in his hand, and it hit the tree. Osmanthus flowers fell to the ground. The fragrance filled the air. But the girl behind the tree still did not dare to make a sound, as if she thought he was a bandit. Liamo did this on purpose. Only when he forced her into a state of fear would he enter her heart. Liamo saw the corner of her dress, fluttering. He knew that she was really frightened. Unhurriedly, Liamo reached out with his slender fingers and adjusted his collar. Then he strode over and reached out to pull her out from behind the tree. But in the next moment, a sharp light's attack. It was a hairpin. After throwing the hairpin, she rushed forward without raising her head. Liamo gently raised his hand and held the hairpin between his ring finger and index finger. He smiled and tossed the hairpin into the air before casually tossing it into his sleeve. Then, like a tiger released from its cage, he rushed in front of Wei Wei Bai in a flash. His fingertips touched her hair, and his nose seemed to have smelled the fragrance of a young girl on her body. Li Imo extended his arm and held her slender waist. He pressed her to the side of a huge osmanthus tree, reached out and grabbed her neck. He said coldly, "Speak. Have you seen my princess?" This overbearing attitude and the urgency in his eyes made people feel his anger. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save to record this reading. Chapter 2252. Wei Wei Bai's eyes were filled with panic, a trace of mist in her beautiful eyes. Limo's eyes flashed with surprise, followed by ecstasy. He quickly let go of his hand. "Your Highness, I found you." Then he hugged her in ecstasy, saying happily, "Are you all right, Your Highness? I heard the bandits were here, so I immediately came to find you." Wei Wei Bai's face behind the veil flashed a trace of embarrassment, the corners of her eyes slightly red. Her voice was trembling. "Put me down. How dare you?" Liamo then realized he wouldn't let go of her. He immediately let go, his face helpless. "Sorry, Your Highness. I was just... As he spoke, his eyelashes trembled, and his beautiful glass-like eyes were filled with pure passion. "I was just too worried about the princess." Wei Wei Bai stared at him blankly for a long time before looking away. Her face was faintly discernible under the veil, incomparably hazy. Liamo saw the blush on her ears. He narrowed his eyes, knowing his plan was about to succeed. Today's action would definitely make Wei Wei Bai take him seriously. But he still needed to get closer. This time, he would let Wei Wei Bai's liking for him turn into love, so he wouldn't have to rack his brains to see her again. So his ears twitched, a trace of coldness appearing on his face. "Your Highness, your servant has broken the rules." After saying that, he immediately rushed over and picked her up. The young girl's fragrance immediately lingered in his nose. It was really fragrant. Liamo couldn't help but lower his head and sniff her neck. Wei Wei Bai frowned, seeming a bit shy. Liamo then realized his actions were improper. He immediately covered up his shameless actions, stepping on the ground, carrying Wei Wei Bai and flying up a tree, hiding in the osmanthus flowers. His broad body covered her, pressing her into the branches. Among the osmanthus flowers, Liamo's handsome and exquisite beautiful face had a kind of quiet solemnity. "Shoo, the bandits are here. Let's hide." Wei Wei Bai was half lying down, her beautiful hair hanging down on the branches. Her pair of calm eyes had a few more traces of repressed feelings. She seemed to be a little shy and didn't look at his face. He simply averted his gaze and looked at Osmanthus. As if she was afraid that the bandits would hear, she didn't say anything either. Only when Liamo leaned on her body did he realize how delicate her body was. Her neck, which was half hidden under the collar, was as white as jade. Her beautiful collarbone line could only be faintly seen, but it was enough to make people feel how exquisite and stunning it was. Limo's innocent and naive eyes couldn't help but darken a little. Suddenly, she whispered, "Have the bandits left?" Limo's eyes trembled as he regained his senses. He stared at Wei Wei Bai's neck for a long time. Was he possessed? Limo felt that his breath was filled with her fragrance, making it hard for him to breathe. He immediately let go of her and twitched his mouth. "Gone, gone, I'll carry you down." Wei Wei Bai nodded reservedly, then reached out and gently placed her hand on the back of his. Using his strength, she got up from the flowers, but in the next moment, her veil was hooked by the branches. Before she could react, her veil had already fallen. Limo also regained his senses and saw her face. For a moment, he was stunned. Wei Wei Bai blinked innocently and suddenly realized that her veil was gone. Her face finally showed panic, and she quickly covered her face with her sleeves, only revealing her eyes. "Don't look, it's ugly." Transmigration system. Adonis, come here for the https://www.sashu.com/transmigration system. Adonis, come here for the full text. https://www.sashu.com/transmigration system. Adonis, come here for the full text. https://www.sashu.com transmigration system. Adonis, come here for the full text. https://m.sashu.com// to make it easier for you to read it next time. You can click save below to record this reading. 4, Chapter 2253. Limo's eyes were incomparably deep. Even the sunny innocence he pretended to be was covered by that overwhelming gloominess. Before Wei Wei Bai could doubt him, he quickly put away the terrifying darkness. He smiled. "How could that be? Your Highness, you're the most beautiful person in the world." Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 10. This sentence was said from the bottom of his heart. Limo had never said anything truer than this. Wei Wei Bai didn't believe it. Smooth talker. Limo smiled without saying anything, but took the veil. "I will put it on for you, Your Highness." Saying so, he could even be said to be strong, ignoring her resistance. Putting the veil on her face, she didn't know if his fingers did it on purpose or not. He rubbed her cheek with his fingertips. After putting the veil on, Limo could finally suppress his predatory nature after being stunned. He said jokingly, "It is good for Your Highness to wear a veil, or else you will provoke many people to die for you." Wei Wei Bai smiled bitterly. "Okay, I know you are kind, but my face is already hurt. Only you don't mind." Limo's eyes flashed with surprise. "Hurt? Is she talking about the almost invisible mark on her face? Like cherry blossoms, they bloomed faintly on her delicate face, which was like a blooming flower." Limo knew his problem. Beauty was seductive. He had always been arrogant, thinking that in this world there was no one more attractive than himself. But Limo took a deep breath, suppressing the inappropriate thoughts in his heart. Power is the most important. Power is the most important. After a dozen times, he stabilized his mind. Then he clumsily reached out. "Your Highness, lean on me. Let's go down." Wei Wei Bai's eyes were clear, staring at him for a while. Looking at him, his face turned red. Then she gently reached out with both hands, wrapping them around his neck. Then she leaned her head on his chest. Limo hugged a girl for the first time, and he was so helpless. He quickly collected his emotions and jumped down the tree with her in his arms. Then, he immediately put down Wei Wei Bai and jumped a few steps away. He had no intention of taking advantage of her at all. His breathing became heavier, and his fingers were clenched tightly. The spot on his chest where she was leaning on kept heating up. Wei Wei Bai stood in place. Her long dress fluttered like the clouds, and her posture was graceful. She was wearing a thin veil. When the wind blew, the outline of her beautiful face could be faintly seen. Limo felt that those who called him ugly were blind. Even though she was wearing a veil, she was still very pretty. Wei Wei Bai heard the noise and looked back. They were the guards who had come to rescue him. Liamo saw it as well. He knelt according to the rules. Your Highness, the rescue team is here. I will take my leave first. Although he was here to save people, his sudden appearance here was actually against the rules. Wei Wei Bai lowered her eyes to look at him. Suddenly, she reached out and gently touched his hair. Limo's back went numb and his body stiffened. Her fingertips lightly touched his hair, her voice clear and sweet. There are flowers in your hair. Liamo pursed his lips, forgetting all the sweet nothings he wanted to say. In the end, he could only force out a sentence. Then I will take my leave. Having said that, Liamo fled into the woods like a coward. Wei Wei Bai stood in place, holding the osmanthus flower in her hand. Suddenly, she laughed softly. Then, she turned and left. Liamo hid in the branches, his face expressionless. Only a pair of malicious eyes stared at her back as she left. Wei Wei Bai was as calm as ever. She sighed to the system. Sigh, another one bowed down to my peerless beauty. The system was speechless, embarrassed. Wei Wei Bai sighed. What should I do? I am so beautiful. It would be a waste to let anyone look at me. System, the next time I buy a peerless beauty for the host, I will kill myself. When Liamo returned, he saw that the strategist was already eating. He was not interested and climbed onto the couch. The strategist said indifferently, What? Is the princess not interested in you? Liamo's back was facing the strategist, not uttering a word. The strategist said, Didn't you say you're loved by everyone? Liamo said, a bit uncomfortable. The strategist? ? Liamo said, My heart is racing. The strategist, could it be that he was interested in the princess? Liamo said, In this world, there is someone better looking than me. The strategist, Liamo said, Jealous. The strategist silently picked up a piece of bamboo shoot and ate it. This lord has a cat disease. Just bear with him for the sake of the sponsored food. To the / to make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2254. After Wei Wei Bai returned, she killed all the bandits she caught. She also rewarded some of the guards who guarded the bandits well. In addition to silver, she also gave everyone a pure gold token, just like a silk banner in modern times. She gave them a reward as a memento. Liamo also received one. The youth's beautiful and delicate eyes were filled with a coldness that didn't match his harmless and pure appearance. He flicked the small piece of gold into his palm. The strategist glanced at him and knew that he had finally stopped acting up. Only then did he ask, Then what do you plan to do next? Liamo's dark eyes flashed under his long and thick eyelashes. Yes, Her Highness must have taken a fancy to me. Plus, I saw her face, so she treats me differently. Fong Qingyun sipped her tea unhurriedly and smiled. Don't go too far. You'll cry if you become the prince consort. Liamo raised his eyes and sneered. Who wants to be the prince consort of Laozi? The prince consort sounded good, but it was a pity that he would marry into the royal family. He couldn't be an official, couldn't have power, couldn't do anything, and was sullen. Liamo supported his chin with one hand and stretched out his white fingertips. He sighed and placed a white piece, blocking the path of the black piece. The next piece will be to eliminate those eyesores one by one. The prince he was secretly supporting was the youngest, Bai Ning. He was only 3 years old, his mother was weak, and his family had no power. She was a palace maid, a prince who was still a baby. He was the best piece. So, Liamo's eyes were cold, but the wild and beautiful light was still there. Recently, the third prince has been the most active. We have collected enough evidence of his corruption in Jiangnan and want to make a move on him. Fong Qingyun poured herself a cup of bamboo tea. Oh, according to the plan? Liamo's eyes narrowed, his thin red lips curling into a mocking smile. Of course, I want to be the princess's guest and show her my loyalty. More importantly, I want to let the princess know that I want to start scheming to seize the imperial power for her, so that she can always be above everyone and live a life of riches and honor. His initial plan was to rely on the princess on the surface, while secretly supporting the little prince. As for the princess, of course, he would kick her away after he had used her. Li Mo's mind inexplicably recalled the scene of the osmanthus flowers. Her veil had fallen, revealing her breathtakingly beautiful face. For a moment, he was stuck. Then, Li Mo reached out his finger and pressed hard against his eyes, trying to get rid of the temptation of her beauty. He was such a principled man. He would definitely not be seduced by beauty. Fang Qingyun saw her lord poke her eyes with her finger. Then, he continued to drink his tea in silence, pretending that he had not seen the whole process of his illness. Sigh. After all, the tea was made from the tip of a top-grade bamboo leaf. It was very expensive. 3 days after the bandit incident, Li Mo was planning how to make the princess like him more. Suddenly, a young waiter appeared. An invitation was delivered. It was the Grand Princess Flowing Goblet Hydrology Banquet. This banquet was held by the royal family and was held by the eldest princess every year. Apart from the members of the royal family, the rest were either the princess's confidants or people she admired. Li Mo held the invitation, his eyes dull as he tapped his fingers on the table. Tell me, is the princess's impression of me a confidant or admiration? The counselor glanced at him. You're so lovable. It's probably admiration. / to facilitate your next reading. You can click Save at the bottom to record your reading record. Chapter 2255. Li Mo's thin lips twitched, revealing a satisfied smile. The youth's color was very beautiful, and this smile added a bit of delicacy. Even the counselor gave him a strange look, as if some faint thoughts were emerging in his mind. Li Mo turned around to pick clothes. Just admiring is not enough. The princess will be my scapegoat, or willingly be my stepping stone. I want to be the best person in her heart. For some reason, this sentence. It contained a kind of determination that made the counselor uneasy, or even bigotry. Fang Qingyun looked at Li Mo, only to find him tall and straight, carrying a large pile of clothes. Counselor Fang, quickly use your unparalleled intelligence and help your lord choose clothes. Is black good? It highlights my white, cold, and handsome skin. Red suits my charming appearance. Red suits my jade-like appearance. White suits my jade-like appearance. Counselor Fang, today was another difficult day to survive. In the end, Li Mo still chose a black outfit. A dark patterned belt wrapped around his thin waist, accentuating his beautiful and robust figure. He rode his horse to the princess's residence. When he arrived, not far from the gate, he saw a familiar figure standing there. Light-colored flowing gauze dress, indifferent and calm eyes, containing thousands of stars. She seemed to be stunned when she saw him, but those calm and indifferent eyes had a hint of joy. This smile that appeared in the depths of her eyes stunned Li Mo. He just remembered his mission to seduce the princess. Before he could show the perfect smile that he had practiced so many times, he saw that Wei Wei Bai had already left without hesitation, accompanied by a maid. That figure was thin, lonely, and exceptionally beautiful. Li Mo's smile froze. She ran when she saw him. He dismounted, and the manservant immediately rushed over. The servants leading the horses couldn't help whispering. Why was the princess standing at the gate? I don't know. Was she waiting for someone? How could that be? Besides His Majesty, who is qualified to make the princess wait. Li Mo was silent for a while, then suddenly lowered his eyes and couldn't help but smile. His little princess was waiting for him. The Chu Shui Shui was near the lake in the princess mansion, and it led the water into a small stream of crushed stones. There were resting areas set up in every corner. Most of them were sitting on mats with small long tables with brushes, ink, paper, and inkstones on them. The banquet was held elegantly. The princes had arrived early and were chatting and drinking. Those who didn't know better would think that they were all brothers, but those who knew better knew that these princes all wanted to stab each other to death. When Li Mo arrived, he saw some powerful civil officials, a few princesses of the royal family, as well as a bunch of unsightly princes. He was out of place here. After all, no military official had ever been present at the eldest princess's banquet. Many people were surprised to see him, especially the third prince. His body was hollowed out by wine and meat, and his eyes were cloudy. "Oh, isn't this our commander, Li? Let this king take a look. Are you regretting your decision? Is that why you chased after me to seek refuge?" Third Prince's eyes were filled with malice as he sized up Li Mo's delicate yet not feminine face. He had never seen that woman or that man as beautiful as her. Last time they met in Jiangnan, Li Mo had beaten him into a pig's head. He only wanted him to serve him for one night, yet he dared to treat him like this. If not for the fact that he couldn't find any evidence of him beating him up and that the royal family was in turmoil, he would have killed Li Mo. Chapter 2256. When Li Mo saw the third prince, he sneered, "This humble subject is inferior. How would I dare to pledge allegiance to the honorable third prince?" Even if the third prince was a fool, he could hear the ridicule in Li Mo's tone. He fumed, "Li Mo, I gave you face, but you don't want it. This prince will not rest until you are dead." Li Mo twitched his fingers, wanting to hit someone. But in this situation, it was his chance to enter the civil service. He wanted to perform well and win over a few good civil servants. But it was all ruined by this idiot. Li Mo was just about to coldly observe, waiting for an opportunity to kick the third prince into the lake to suffer a little. But the third prince used his status to draw his sword and charge at Li Mo. He knew Li Mo wouldn't dare to do anything to him in this situation. If he dared to act up, he would immediately be charged with the crime of assassinating a prince, and his family would be exterminated. The third prince's sword was about to hit him. Suddenly, a voice as cold as ice spoke. "Third brother, stop." The third prince paused. Li Mo took the chance to retreat a few steps and turned to see the girl standing in the corridor, quietly watching him. Her raven hair fell to her shoulders, and a blooming osmanthus flower was pinned to her hair. She was like a fairy under the osmanthus flower, even if she was wearing a veil. Her figure was also graceful, and her temperament was noble and indifferent. The third prince saw Wei Wei Bai and immediately showed a flattering smile. "Sister, aren't I teaching a disobedient servant a lesson?" Wei Wei Bai looked at him coldly, her eyes as sharp as knives. Her voice was cold and ruthless. "Servant? The person this princess personally invited is just a disobedient servant in third brother's eyes." The third prince was also afraid of this sister. When the empress was alive, she taught them a hard lesson. The emperor doted on his only legitimate princess even more. No matter how fiercely the princes fought, no one dared to step over Wei Wei Bai's head. Even if the empress had passed away, Wei Wei Bai's power was enough to make her superior. The third prince immediately cowered. "Eldest sister, it's all younger brother's fault. It's all because of this lowly." Wei Wei Bai's expression was incomparably cold. She sternly interrupted him. "Since you know you're wrong, you have to accept the punishment. Otherwise, outsiders will think that the imperial family willfully indulged you, resulting in such a hedonistic personality." After saying that, her eyes were cold and full of noble aura. "Someone, push him into the lake for me to calm down." The third prince turned pale with fright. "Sister?" Unfortunately, before he could beg for mercy, the eldest princess' loyal guards had already rushed over. He pressed the third prince into the lake. Suddenly, the third prince's screams rang out. Li Mo stood to the side in a daze. He had always known that the eldest princess was overbearing and decisive. She had grown up on the lap of the former empress, who had been in charge of politics behind the curtain for 20 years. In the imperial family, he was a ruthless figure who kept his word. But he didn't know that when she was angry, she could be so efficient. He couldn't help but look at her, only to see that her expression was unusually indifferent, without a trace of emotion in her eyes. It was as if using this method to teach her younger brother a lesson was a very common thing. She seemed to have noticed something and lightly looked up. When she saw that it was him, the calmness in her eyes crumbled a little. She was a little shy. Then she gently turned her eyes away. Then she slowly walked over. Her thin figure was noble and cold, so no one dared to look at her. When Li Mo reacted, the girl had already walked in front of him. Her voice was soft, completely different from her cold appearance just now. "Ali, Those who bully you will be punished. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2257. Her voice was so soft, it was like a gentle breeze, and only he could hear the warmth of it. It was so soft that it seeped into his bones. It made Limo's heart beat a few times. Ding! The male lead's favorability is at 15. Then the girl in front of him slowly reached out her hand. Without much thought, he had already extended his elbow, and her fingers just happened to touch his muscular arm. Wei Wei Bai's face was still indifferent. A waiter beside her had already hurriedly bowed to the guests who had come to attend the banquet and said, "My lords, Her Royal Highness said that today is a fine day, a good day for flowing water. Please take your seats." The third prince had already been dragged away like a dead dog. The eldest princess was famous for her domineering attitude. Even if it was her own brother, she dared to punish him. 20 years of the Empress's connections in the imperial court and the power of the imperial family. The aura of the eldest princess gave Wei Wei by enough prestige and power. When the Tsiu Shui ceremony started, Liemo was already led to the second seat, and the first seat belonged to the eldest princess. The girl lazily leaned against the cushion, sitting on a straw mat with a cup full of wine at her feet. Liemo casually sat cross-legged, knowing that she arranged this seat for him. Many of the civil officials looked at him differently because he had obtained the favor of the eldest princess. It was not the kind of favor of a guest. It was the kind that was truly cared for and protected by her. Liemo knew that when he went out tomorrow, the officials would definitely come to greet him. At that time, he would push Fong Qinyan out and enter the inner circle of the officials. Then he would be able to start building his own circle of influence. The eldest princess's power was so great, it was clearly what he wanted. But while Limo's beautiful eyes carefully looked at Wei Wei Bai, he saw that she was holding a pen in her hand, writing something. White as snow fingers had an unhealthy luster, but they were exquisite and beautiful. Liemo slowly lowered his eyes, licking his lips in annoyance. Why was he not happy? Suddenly, he heard Wei Wei Bai's soft voice. The theme of today's song is love. Wherever the song stops, any poem or song with love as the theme is fine. The people who came to participate nodded and praised. Liemo had no interest in poetry. He was only here to fish for the princess. Today, the princess had already expressed how much she valued him. He had achieved his goal. Wei Wei Bai put the wine into the water, and the wine slowly flowed down. It walked in front of Liemo and spun around. The wine seemed to have a mechanism that could make people stop in front of someone. Liemo raised his eyebrows curiously. Suddenly, he saw a folded piece of paper in the basket. He quickly picked it up. The paper was spread open. It was a simple sentence. "You are handsome and elegant. This concubine has admired you for a long time. It is easy to entrust a brocade book to you, but it is difficult to express my feelings." What she meant was, he was shockingly handsome, and the princess had been secretly in love with him for a long time. Today, she wrote a love letter to him, but she was worried that he would reject her. This was a confession. This must be a love letter. This must be it. Liemo was stunned. He had always suspected that the princess had a crush on him, but when his suspicions turned into reality, he was actually a little dazed. He held the paper in his hand and looked up at Wei Wei Bai, but he saw the girl lowering her eyes, not daring to look at him. That strong and cold side of him just now. Now, it was all a little girl's shyness and softness. Her beautiful brows were furrowed, and her eyelashes were trembling. Slash. Chapter 2258. Soft and fragile, as if one word from him could decide her life or death. Limo's fingers holding the love letter turned white. He didn't know why. He wasn't happy at all. His chest felt heavy. He couldn't reject her. He had to continue lying to her. Limo looked up with suppressed coldness in his eyes. He slowly curled his lips. "I only have one thing to say about love." Limo looked at Wei Wei Bai. His tone was casual and solemn. "I love you always and always." Then, he saw that the eyes of the girl in front of him were suddenly filled with joy and happiness. So beautiful that it was as if all the beauty in the world fell into her eyes. Limo's lips trembled. Even his breathing became irregular. He looked away, not knowing why his mood was so strange. It was obviously a scam. He was a ruthless hunter. But suddenly, he had a different feeling for his prey. Ding! The male lead's favorability is at 20. Wei Bai smiled. Little brother Li took the bait. I told you that beauty can conquer the world. I just casually wrote a nonsensical poem, and he confessed. System, he had already blocked words like beauty, peerless appearance, and beauty. So he couldn't hear anything about beauty from the host. Sure enough, the world was completely silent. After the Tsushui festival was successfully held, Liemo saw that it was getting late and narrowed his eyes. Today, he wanted to show his sincerity to Princess Ali. If he stayed one more night, then he would ask for too much in the future. Wei Bai would also reject him. Everyone had left, but Liemo was still there. He was full of evil tricks, waiting to do something bad. Although he didn't bring medicine today, it didn't matter. He suddenly didn't hate the princess, so it was fine to sacrifice himself. Thinking of this, Liemo secretly swallowed his saliva and wiped his lips with his hand. He was just about to sneak away to find the princess. But suddenly, he saw a beautiful glass lamp appear in front of him. Behind the glass lamp was a young girl wearing a veil. Her delicate features were hazy and beautiful under the light. I'll eat so late. Let me send you back. Liemo stared at her blankly for a moment before stuttering. Why don't I stay? She was practically throwing herself at him. She couldn't wait to climb into his bed. Wei Bai couldn't help but laugh. Ali, are you afraid that the road back will be dark? Liemo was still holding the note in his hand. His breathing deepened. No, I'm afraid that your highness is just joking with me. Wei Bai was stunned. Then, she sighed and reached out to gently stroke his face. Her cold fingertips were warmed by his skin. Ali, you have a big heart. If you stay overnight, others will look down on you. She spoke in a low voice. Her eyes were clear and full of affection. I don't want you to be seen as my subordinate. I know you're the best, so I want to help you reach a higher position. Liemo's feigned innocent eyes darkened as he looked at her in silence. Wei Bai didn't seem to notice the haze in his eyes. She raised the glass lamp and said with a smile, All right, the road ahead is dark. I'll lead Ali and won't let you fall. Liemo felt as if his chest was stuffed with something sour, bitter, sweet, and bitter. Suddenly, she gently took his hand. The girl's calm and gentle voice sounded. Let's go, my little Ali. His tone was full of love, and his words were full of love. Liemo was led by her, and for some reason, he felt an urge. If the road was longer and darker, would she continue to bring him along like this? Ding! The male lead's favorability is at 25. Crossover system. Adonis, come here. / crossover system. Adonis, come here. / crossover system. Adonis, come here. Download crossover system. Adonis, come here. Mobile to make it easier for you to read next time. You can click Save to record this reading. Crossover system. Adonis, come here. Chapter 2259. Little Li. When Liemo returned with the glass lantern, he found his counselor sitting and eating sunflower seeds. While eating sunflower seeds, he read the news from all over the place. He glanced at the counselor and then curled up in the chair without a word. Fang Qingyun held the sunflower seeds, speechless. What now? Did the princess embarrass you in public? Weren't you mentally prepared? After all, self-esteem was nothing when it came to serving others with beauty. At the crucial moment, Liemo threw caution to the wind and didn't care about self-esteem. So even if he was humiliated by the princess, he shouldn't be so disheartened. Liemo turned his back to the counselor and crossed his arms. The princess likes me. Counselor, isn't that good? Liemo, but I feel uncomfortable. Counselor, where? Is it a cold or a leg cramp? Liemo was a bit angry. Uncomfortable is uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable everywhere. The counselor was very indifferent to his lord who had a lot of problems. Then I will ask the old Chinese doctor at the village entrance to take your pulse and see if your period came or if you were pregnant. Liemo finally jumped up, his eyes dark and vicious. Fang Qingyun, I will get angry if you continue like this. Fong Qingyan looked at him coldly. Are you feeling guilty? Li Mo's eyes trembled, but he pursed his lips and said coldly, What is guilt? I don't know. Fong Qingyan got up and said calmly, It's good that you don't. Ali, once you set foot on this path, you have no chance to turn back. There is no need for guilt and self-blame. Li Mo lay back down, his beautiful eyes staring at the lights on the roof. It was as if he saw the girl who sent him to the door and stood at the door, staring at his back. Li Mo's eyes were deep, and he finally looked away. Then he lay on his side. After a long time, the counselor heard him say, I won't be soft-hearted. These words were cold and hard, as if he wanted to bury something. The counselor sat on the chair and stared at Li Mo's back for a long time. Finally, he sighed but didn't say anything. The news of the third prince being almost drowned by the eldest princess had spread to every corner of the city. When this matter was spread, it was said that the eldest princess was domineering and arrogant. How could he be so lawless in front of Prince? In this matter, Li Mo's name was hidden. Everyone listened and thought it was a conflict between the princess and the prince. This incident damaged the reputation of both the third prince and the eldest princess. Fong Qingyun circled the names of the eldest princess and the third prince. Then he said to Li Mo, Once this rumor gets out, we can add fuel to the fire and exaggerate the ridiculous things the eldest princess and the third prince did, forcing the eldest princess to oppose the third prince. Then they would fight each other. Only then could they reap the benefits. Li Mo lay by the window, gazing at the osmanthus flowers with a cold gaze. Suddenly, he seemed to have thought of something and said in a puzzled tone, Strange, why did my name disappear so completely? Even if they deliberately exaggerated the grudge between the eldest princess and the third prince. He was cast as an insignificant figure. But after the rumors spread, his name completely disappeared. Fong Qingyun said, Perhaps someone is protecting you. Li Mo looked up at the counselor, and his eyelashes suddenly trembled. He didn't say anything and continued to look outside. The counselor coughed lightly. Good momentum. Keep it up. You did a good job seducing the princess. Li Mo crossed his arms and puffed out his cheeks like an angry puffer fish. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record your reading record. Chapter 2260. The Strategist Comforted. If this goes on, the princess will fall in love with you and give up everything for you. Li Mo snorted. What's the use of letting your lord live off a woman? The strategist, haha. You're the one who licks your face to live off a woman. It's none of your business. The youth was still angry when he saw something and jumped up, rushing to the door. As expected, the princess's servant came again. The servant smiled eagerly. Commander, Her Royal Highness said you can return the glass lamp today. Her Royal Highness is waiting for you. Commander Li was the princess's favorite, and no one dared to provoke him. Li Mo pursed his lips, his mouth tight. After the servant finished the princess's words, he tactfully left. Fong Qingyun was plotting how to make the princess royal fight with the third prince. But he saw Li Mo with his head down, hands in his sleeves, a strange gloominess on his face. Strategist Fong thought he was feeling guilty and was thinking of how to comfort him. But then he saw Li Mo suddenly open a suitcase and plunge into a dozen suitcases. I've worn black, so it's fresh. Today, I'll wear blue. The abstinent little vixen is me. Strategist, Li Mo's face was gloomy. There are too few clothes. None of them can bring out my unparalleled beauty. Strategist's fingers trembled, unable to hold the pen steady. Screw your unparalleled beauty. You're supposed to live off a woman, not be a sissy. Li Mo took out a set of clothes. Strategist Fong, how about this? Strategist Fong looked and found the collar was open to the chest. His eyes were so hot he wanted to cry. Wearing this, is he going to be a hoodlum? Li Mo, no, it's too bold. The princess thinks I'm a loose person. I'm more conservative. Strategist, big brother, wake up. You're going to fight for power. You're a man of steel. Why does it feel like you're going to fight for the position of empress? In the end, Li Mo chose the initial plan, a blue set of clothes. Then he tied a hairband of the same color. The young man was handsome and exquisite. His every movement was filled with charm. Liam-o tightened his belt to make his sturdy waist look even better. Then, Liam-o put on a melancholy expression. His eyelashes lightly covered his fragile eyes, and there was a hint of coldness between his brows. The current me will definitely cause people to feel pity for me. He touched his handsome face and said, I really do make people want to commit crimes. The strategist silently turned around and took out a spittoon. Blarg, did Liam-o know he ate too much and purposely came to disgust him? Wei Bai heard that Liam-o was here. She was putting on her clothes. There were too many clothes, and it was difficult to choose. After all, she was so beautiful now that there weren't many clothes that could complement her beauty. She expressed her pain and melancholy to the system. The system indicated that it could give her 2 more scars like dog skin plasters. I guarantee that any clothes will be prettier than the host's. Host, hearing the summons, Liam-o tugged at his sleeves and walked in with a straight posture. However, he found that there was no one in the room. Behind the screen, a figure faintly appeared in the light. His breathing paused for a moment, and he felt the heart in his chest beat a lot faster, because he found that the figure was graceful, as if she was putting on clothes. The girl behind the screen suddenly turned around and asked softly, Commanderly? Liam-o stared blankly at her half-clothed figure. His throat began to dry up. Your Highness. / to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2261. The girl was silent for a moment, then said shyly, I know. I can't tie my belt. Come help me. His words were filled with hesitation, and cautiousness as he probed carefully. Liam-o knew how the princess felt about him. He thought she would make a move on him on the first night. But now, after the confession, after the mutual affection, she carefully reached out her finger, wanting to touch him. In fact, Liam-o knew that she respected and even adored him. Maybe it was because of Liam-o's hesitation that the girl noticed. The girl's gentle voice trembled. If you don't know how, then I will do it myself. She couldn't bear to force him. Even after being rejected, she was still willing to compromise. For the first time, Liam-o felt that he could control her emotions. He could make her happy, but he could also make her sad. His mood was inexplicably better, but he didn't know why he was suppressing a sense of irritation. Liam-o reached out and gently grabbed the edge of the screen. He leaned sideways and could only see behind the screen a corner of the girl's dress. It was a light blue, the same color as his clothes, but much lighter. She could even choose a piece of clothing. Liam-o couldn't help but smile. His voice was low and hoarse. Your Highness doesn't mind this official's rough hands and feet. Of course, this official is duty-bound. Saying so, he stepped into the screen. The girl's back was facing him. She was already dressed, but the belt was hanging loosely on her slender waist. Wei Bai seemed to know he came in. Her eyelashes fluttered. Her side profile was unusually soft in the light. Then, I will have to trouble Commander. She spoke softly, her red lips slightly moving. Liam-o was nervous. He reached out and touched her belt with his fingertips. The belt was soft. He pursed his lips and held his breath. When he was close to her, his slender figure almost enveloped the petite girl in his arms. Liam-o's fingertips were white as he pinched a mark on the belt. He saw her fragile white neck, her skin so white it was shining, but with a pink flush. She was also nervous. She lowered her head, her long hair falling behind her back. She was unusually obedient, the always strong and cold Princess Royal. In front of him, she was like a little girl, full of tender and pure feeling. The impact left Liam-o's mind blank for a moment. Only his chest felt numb from nervousness. Seeing that he didn't move, Wei Bai said nervously, Commanderly? Liam-o suddenly woke up. His fingers gripped her belt tightly before he bent down and respectfully fastened it for her. This was clearly a very good opportunity. He hugged her and did something to her. Nothing much, just a kiss would do. Since the princess had given him such an obvious hint, if he didn't pounce on her, he would be letting her down. But for some reason, Liam-o couldn't bring himself to do it. It was as if he would be rude to her. Liamo tied the belt for her and found that her waist was too thin. He secretly touched it with his hand. Wei Wei Bai's body stiffened, but she didn't say anything. Liamo, on the other hand, blushed and pulled his hand back awkwardly. He looked nervous and didn't say anything. He quickly took her long, gorgeous coat and hurriedly put it on Wei Wei Bai. Then he lowered his head, looked away, and showed a forced smile. "Your Highness, it's done." Wei Wei Bai looked at him for a long time, seeing that his ears were red. She slowly showed a smile, the tenderness in her eyes so obvious. Download the https://www.sashu.com/download the full article. https://www.sashu.com download the full article. https://www.sashu.com download the full article. https://m.sashu.com// to make it easier for you to read it next time. You can click save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2262. She then put on her coat and gently put her hand on his arm. "All right, let's go." Liamo sighed in relief, wanting to escape from this fragrant boudoir. Wei Wei Bai walked slowly. Liamo was an impatient person, but slowing down and accommodating to her speed was also a wonderful feeling. In the study, Wei Wei Bai took out a stack of memorials and whispered, "I had people gather evidence of third brother's abuse of the people, corruption, and murder." Liamo froze, his eyes flashing with disbelief. She was doing the same thing as him? Did she know his purpose? Liamo clenched his fists, his eyes flashing with vigilance. But before he could plot, the girl in front of him said calmly, "I said, no one can bully you." Liamo's heart skipped a beat. He slowly looked up, his eyes deep and dull. Wei Wei Bai didn't seem to see his eyes. The slender girl stood by the desk, her beautiful fingers pressing on the memorials. "Third brother has been too jumpy these years. The imperial family doesn't need a prince who disgraces the court. Prison will wake him up." She didn't seem to know that these things could ruin the third prince's path to power. She was calm, as if it was a small matter. "I called you here today to tell you not to be afraid. He won't be able to bully you anymore." Wei Wei Bai finished and turned to see Li Mo looking at her with a complicated expression. She tilted her head and couldn't help touching her veil. "What's wrong? Did I scare you because I didn't wear my veil properly?" Liamo pursed his lips uncomfortably and smiled stiffly. "No, I just think that the prince's actions are too sensational." Bai Weiwei smiled, a trace of softness appearing in her eyes. "Don't be afraid. I took care of it for Liamo. He won't hurt you in the future." Liamo clenched his fist, sweating. His throat was dry. This was clearly the best course of action, but the eldest princess and the third prince were fighting. Even the eldest princess disregarded everything and destroyed the third prince. Moreover, he was not implicated, which was a great thing. However, he was not very happy. Wei Wei Bai thought he was worried. She reached out, as if she wanted to touch his head. She was about to stand on her tiptoes when she realized that he was too tall. Liamo had already lowered his head and was half squatting. His eyes were dark, but he was at a loss. Wei Wei Bai blinked and suddenly smiled. Her fingers landed on his hair. The fingertips on her hair were soft and weightless. Liamo, on the other hand, felt as if he had touched the bottom of his heart. It was warm and comfortable. Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 30. After dealing with third prince, Wei Wei Bai placed her hand on Liamo's and went out for a walk. The huge courtyard was filled with flowers and plants. Liamo knew that there were only a few servants. Every time he came, she would ask the servant to leave. This was a way to protect him, to prevent others from saying that he was her boy toy. A gust of wind blew and lifted the veil, hiding her face. Wei Wei Bai was nervous, pressing the veil with her hand. But her hand was held by Liamo. Wei Wei Bai was nervous. Li? Liamo looked at her in a daze, his beautiful eyes shining. "Your Highness, I want to see your face." Wei Wei Bai was flustered. "Don't look, it's ugly." Liamo boldly used his finger to pull off her veil. "No, in my eyes. Your Highness is the most beautiful. Chapter 2263. It was clearly just sweet talk and pleasantries. When a veil was lifted, his breath stopped. The girl's face was gentle and beautiful. The faint red mark on her face made her fair and tender skin look even more gorgeous. There was no makeup on her face, but her lips were still red and beautiful. Her eyes were so clear that he could see the bottom, reflecting his face. She was beautiful. This kind of beauty was not the kind that was full of vitality and full of attack power. Instead, it was a beauty that sunk into prosperity like a lotus in clear water. Clear to the extreme, gorgeous beyond compare. Liemo held her face, looking at the fear and gentle affection in her eyes. Suddenly, he heard a cracking sound coming from the depths of his heart. Something dark and gloomy ran out. He seemed to be bewitched, gently touching her red mark with his finger. Your Highness, although the scar is obvious, I don't care. Wei Wei Bai's eyelashes trembled, as if she was afraid of others mentioning her scar. Li Mo's eyes darkened, as if some kind of beast was hibernating, eroding his rationality bit by bit. He lowered his voice, dark and sexy, as if it was dipped in poison, gloomy and gorgeous. People judge people by their appearance, but I am not such a person. I admire your Highness's intelligence and talent. Appearance is only skin. Wei Wei Bai looked up at him blankly. Liemo smiled. The youth's face was very good, delicate, and wild. This smile was so beautiful that it made people's heart palpitate. Sure enough, Wei Wei Bai's eyes trembled, her face blushing. Liemo saw her face, and his face became even more beautiful. He resisted the urge to lick it. He continued softly. So in the future, Your Highness, you don't need to wear a veil in front of me. His fingers were still caressing her red mark unhurriedly, as if reminding her of her imperfection. He emphasized again, even if the scar is ugly, I don't care. But there are too many malicious people in this world, so it's enough for me to see your face. She did not know how beautiful she was. She hurt her face when she was in her teens, thinking that she was disfigured. She always wore a veil, and, after a long time, she really thought that she was ugly. She thought that the mark on her face was so light that it was almost invisible. It would scare people. It was like a treasure covered in dust before the dust was wiped off. Even Jinbao thought he was a rock. Liemo knew how much chaos her appearance could cause. How many people were willing to die for her beauty? If she knew that she wasn't ugly anymore, there would definitely be more men who would be her guests. At that time, he wouldn't be strange anymore. Liemo silently calculated his own benefits and convinced himself that hiding her appearance was a good thing. But there was another dark purpose that was on the verge of being revealed. But it remained in his heart. He just didn't want anyone to see her. This was an extremely stubborn possessiveness. A terrible, dark feeling of possessiveness welled up. Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 35. Wei Wei Bai blinked, seemingly convinced. She couldn't help but reveal a gentle smile. Amidst her pure shyness, there was a hint of flirtatiousness that was more beautiful than the blooming flowers around her. Then listen to Li. Her voice was soft and intimate. Everyone in the world has a beautiful face, but my little Ali likes interesting souls. Limo's eyes flashed with guilt. She pulled a smile in front of him. She was more than interesting. More importantly, she was stunningly beautiful. Liemo felt that he was so bad that his head was leaking pus, tricking her like this. But he didn't regret letting her misunderstand his ugliness. If she wasn't wearing a veil, who knew how many bastards would covet her? Liemo coldly thought, she'll just let me see. No one is allowed to see. Wei Wei Bai suddenly patted his shoulder. Liemo lowered his head to say something. A light touch like a falling flower landed on his lips. Liemo was stunned, as if he couldn't believe it. Wei Wei Bai's face was red. Her eyes were a little wet, but there was a hint of innocence. This is my first time, it's not dirty. Limo's fingers trembled as he touched his lips. His mind was buzzing, but his mouth automatically spoke. It's my first time too, I'm not dirty. Wei Wei Bai was stunned, then suddenly laughed. Then it doesn't count as taking advantage of Ali. Li Mo's face turned red. This wasn't an act. It really was his first time. Download the https://www.sashu.com/download the full article. https://www.sashu.com download the full article. https://www.sashu.com download the full article. https://m Sashu.com. Next time you open the bookshelf, you will be able to see it, if you like. Chapter 2264. You can search time transmigration system. Adonis come to Sashu. Come and Baidu to find the. After Li Mo returned, he lay on the recliner with a gloomy face. Counselor, every time he came back, he would lie down with his back to him. Those who didn't know better would think he was so weak from the princess that he couldn't even walk properly. Although he didn't want to pay attention to this guy with a bunch of problems. But when he thought of the salary, forget it, he would just ask, "Did the princess embarrass you?" Li Mo's face was cold as he said, "No." "Counselor, then why are you unhappy?" "Li Mo, which eye of yours saw me unhappy?" "Counselor, both eyes saw it." Li Mo sneered, saying sarcastically, "The princess is ugly, right?" "Counselor, how the fuck would I know if the princess was ugly?" But everyone said she was ugly. But as a practical counselor who couldn't gossip without evidence, he still asked for confirmation. "Is the princess really ugly?" Li Mo sulked for a while before saying angrily, "Of course she is. Isn't everyone saying she is ugly? Do you still doubt it?" "Counselor," Li Mo turned his head, not looking at the counselor. Could it be that some dirty bastard covets her? Could it be that someone doesn't believe she is ugly? "Counselor," Li Mo sat up in excitement. "Don't worry about the third prince. Spread the rumor that the Princess Royal is ugly. So ugly that she can't be seen, so ugly that it will scare people to death." Counselor said cautiously, "So the princess is that ugly?" After all, Li Mo had seen the princess's face. Even he was scared. Was she that ugly? Then it must have been hard for his lord to sacrifice so much for his career. No wonder he was so sarcastic these days. He must have been scared by the princess's appearance and spouted nonsense. Li Mo's eyes turned ruthless, saying coldly, "Who said she was ugly? You dare to insult her?" "Counselor." Then he put down the peach in his hand that was said to be very expensive and not available in this season. "Screw you. I won't eat this bowl of rice." He wanted to resign. He wanted to leave this crazy, feline, and dog-like son of a bitch. Li Mo suddenly pursed his lips and lowered his head dispiritedly. He clutched at his hair. Unbearable. The counselor picked up the peach again. "What's wrong?" Li Mo snorted, "Don't bother. Advise or fall. Screw your peaches, I'm not eating anymore." Li Mo lay back down and curled into a ball. "Suddenly, I don't just want power anymore." His voice was low, but unusually cold. Fang Qingyun became serious. "What else do you want? You can't be too greedy. Ali, with your identity, you're destined to reach your end. If you want the throne, you won't succeed." Li Mo's eyes were dark, and there was a trace of evil coldness in between his exquisite brows. "Who said I want the throne? I want the princess. Power and beauty." He wanted it all. Fang Qingyun paused. "Why is it so sudden? Are you in love with her?" Li Mo frowned and coldly retorted, "How could I fall in love with her?" "But he pursed his lips. "She has some redeeming qualities. In any case, I will definitely have a woman by my side in the future. I don't think any woman in this world can enter my eyes. She's the only one." Fang Qingyun rubbed her nose in annoyance. "How can you do this? You want to take away the princess's power and make her betray everyone, yet you want her to stay by your side? Wasn't this courting death? When the princess regained her senses in the future, Li Mo would be her greatest enemy. /say button below to record this reading record. Chapter 2265. How could a vicious woman love him willingly? Li Mo pursed his lips. His eyes were usually pure and beautiful, but now they were full of ghastly aura. "I want her. I don't care what kind of interesting soul she is. When the time comes, I'll break her and she won't be tied up." These words were so innocent that they were cruel. Only a cold and heartless person like Liemo would be able to say that. Fang Qingyun was speechless and sighed. As long as you like it. Liemo narrowed his eyes. The unparalleled youth revealed his bestial side. He gritted his teeth. The third prince has been broken by the princess. We don't need to do anything. Fang Qingyun paused and looked at Liemo. But Liemo turned around, his beautiful eyes filled with satisfaction at having achieved his goal. So it was the eldest princess who did it for him. Fang Qingyun's voice was calm. It seems the princess has deep feelings for you. To protect Liemo, the eldest princess made a clean move and broke the third prince. Hearing this, Liemo smiled. His eyes sparkled. That's right, she likes me a lot. So even if she knew his purpose in the future, maybe she would continue to like him. Because in this world, he was the only one who didn't dislike her ugliness. The ugly Wei Bai was staring at the mirror. I want to fall in love with myself. She held the mirror and turned it around. The system embroidered flowers. 50 handkerchiefs embroidered with chrysanthemums. That's one day of life. More embroidery. Wei Bai turned around. Right? What is Liemo doing? The system glanced, looking in the mirror before sleeping. We're all narcissistic people like this. Wei Bai, it's useless. He's not as good looking as me. System, forget it. It's not the first time its host is like this. Why are you making a fuss? Embroider chrysanthemums. Before Liemo went to bed, he held the mirror and stared at it for a long time. Finally, he admitted defeat and threw the mirror away. He pulled the quilt and grumbled. She's still better looking. The matter of the third prince's imprisonment made the struggle for power in the imperial family even more turbulent. The emperor's condition worsened. Even the imperial physician had secretly revealed that they could only prepare for the funeral. The second prince had been secretly recruiting soldiers. He planned to seize the throne before the first prince succeeded the throne. For all the princes, this was the most critical moment. If he failed to seize the throne, he would die. However, the fact that Wei Bai had defeated the third prince was like a wake-up call. Women could also seize power. These princes all began to secretly attack the eldest princess. After all, the former empress had held court behind the curtain for more than 20 years. Her prestige was frightening. No one wanted to see another former empress. Women could not become empress. However, they were able to control the court and make the emperor a mere decoration. This was also why the empress had died. The reason why the imperial court was in turmoil was because the emperor was known for his cowardice and incompetence. And the eldest princess inherited all of her mother's connections. Many of the old officials in the court were on the side of the princess. Even if there was a new emperor, the eldest princess might take over his power if he was not careful. If the eldest princess had not attacked the third prince, the princes would not have felt the crisis. This time, the eldest princess was completely exposed to all the intricate power struggles. Wei Bai listened to the officials in the mansion who were kneeling and discussing the various recent attacks. Many people had tried to assassinate her. Chapter 2266. In the imperial court, many officials who belonged to the Princess Royal's faction were attacked. Wei Bai's eyes were cold. Her face behind the veil was blank. She was not listening at all. The system was handling everything. The system finally concluded, your brothers, your father's concubines are all trying to kill you. Wei Bai said, go on, go on, go on. Only when you're happy can you die early. The system said, fuck, your second prince and first prince send out more than 20 assassins at the same time to kill you in 2 groups. Wei Bai said, when they come, remember to knock a few out. Don't let them commit suicide. The system said, why do I feel so busy in this world? Wei Bai said, no, it's because you had too much free time. The system thought about it and felt that it was true. By Wei. In any case in this plane, with my unparalleled beauty and supreme power, I can brush up favorability. The system said, I'm just afraid that your power will be too much. Wei Bai said, I'll leave as soon as I farm favorability. Oh right, the temporary time limit hasn't been fixed yet? The system said, I don't know why, Maybe I cut a line when I removed the favorability indicator, so it's short-circuited. Wei Wei Bai said. Then I'm in danger. If it was only a month, she would have died too unjustly. The system said, don't worry. The machine only looks at the results. Temporary means that there is no time limit. If it's fixed suddenly, the time will be recalculated. In other words, it would suddenly show a month. It would start counting from the day it was displayed. Wei Wei Bai thought for a while. When will the assassination begin? The system said, aren't you going to the lake tomorrow? It'll kill you on the lake. A few who know how to swim will sink the boat. The boatman will be the killer, and a few who are good at Qigong will fly to kill you. Wei Wei Bai held her face. I think I'm very popular. The system was very understanding. How about I give you 2 more scars so that you won't be troubled by them? Wei Wei Bai, the system said, come on, don't be so courteous with me. Put your face closer, and I'll put more on it. I guarantee that whoever sees you will run away faster than they would if they saw a ghost. Wei Wei Bai immediately changed the topic. Tomorrow, I'll bring a little fresh meat on board to stimulate the target. The system put away the ointment regretfully. Bring a few more. You have a bunch in your backyard anyway. The original owner kept a bunch of good-looking men in the backyard, all for the sake of appreciation. However, Wei Wei Bai forgot about it and didn't pay attention to it. Wei Wei Bai was stunned for a moment before she remembered that there really was a pile of them. So after thinking about it, he slowly said, then bring a few more. Liemo was having a meal with Advisor Fong when he received the news. He ate fast and liked to squat on the chair. It was not elegant at all. Liemo shoveled rice into his mouth as he tossed the information aside. The princess's information was urgent, and he wanted to see it as soon as possible. However, as soon as he ate a mouthful of rice, he saw the princess and more than 10 good-looking young men touring the lake together this afternoon. Liemo was taken aback by this information. Then, he struggled to move his teeth and realized something. He spat the rice back into the bowl. A few grains of rice flew into the dishes. Advisor Fong, who was eating, did he think that he ate too much and wanted to disgust him so that he could save food? Liemo's face was terrifyingly gloomy. His slender white fingers clutched the piece of paper and crushed it bit by bit. Advisor Fong, who was about to ask for an explanation, download the https://www.sashu.com/download the https://www.sashu.com download the https://www.sashu.com download the https://m.sashu.com button below to record your reading record. Chapter 2267. Liemo's thin lips were tightly pursed, his beautiful eyes full of anger. With me, I actually want to be with someone else. He threw the note into the soup. The counselor stared at the expensive ginseng turtle soup. Liemo picked up a long sword and slammed the table. I'm not eating. I'm going to kill those little bitches. Daring to steal the princess from him. Let's see how many lives those bitches have. Finishing his words, Liemo disappeared like the wind. Fong Qingyun raised his chopsticks and held his bowl. He had only eaten a few mouthfuls of rice. There were still a few dishes that were not spat on by Liemo. After thinking for a long time, he finally put his chopsticks on a clean dish with difficulty. Just as he was about to pick it up, with a bang, the table collapsed. The counselor fell into deep thought. Why was it so difficult to eat a meal? The large boat by the lake was incomparably luxurious. In addition to the guards, there were more than 10 good-looking youths on the boat. They were cute, handsome, gentle, and enchanting. Wei Wei Bai felt that the sunlight was dazzling her eyes. Beside her were green grass in full bloom. Every blade of grass was especially beautiful, although overall, they were not as good as Liemo. But it was fresh. Wei Wei Bai held a wine cup in her hand and gently shook it. She sat on the chair and listened to the system report. 3 are killers. 1 is in disguise. The other 2 were spies from the beginning, and the rest are not sincere to you. Wei Wei Bai sighed. It's my fault for being rich and powerful. I actually snatched so many good men. Normal men, who would be willing to be restrained by a woman in the backyard. These people were not only spies. The rest of them had thoughts of betrayal. All of them were plotting how to destroy her. If not for the original owner being allergic to men with the original owner's temperament, he must have died on the stomachs of this group of evil spirits. Wei Wei Bai saw that it was about time. Her eyes were lazy and ordered the boat to set sail. With Li Mo's methods, he would definitely be able to catch up with her wherever the boat went. The favorability was only 35, just on the verge of being moved. There was definitely a sense of possessiveness, but not necessarily a strong feeling. But Li Mo had been spoiled by her before, so he would definitely be jealous. In addition to her power, he was even more tempted, so he was not afraid that he would not chase after her. Just like those concubines in the harem who were fighting for favor. Which one of them was sincere to the emperor? For the sake of power, they would still fight to the death. Wei Wei Bai gently lifts a corner of her veil to drink, only to find a young man secretly looking at her. She gently revealed a smile. Her lips were as bright as fire, and her charm was instantly born. The young man immediately blushed. Only then did Wei Wei Bai loosen her veil and return to normal. There were too many young men, so she made up a number. The one who blushed just now was the cute little six. He was also a spy who had colluded with the assassins to kill her. The boat left the shore and slowly sailed on the calm lake. At the bottom of the boat, the fish-like killer had already begun to chisel at the boat. As for Wei Wei Bai, her expression was still indifferent. She was watching a young man play the zither and another recite a poem. Another one was painting on the spot. The rest of them were pouring wine and fanning themselves. That little six almost squeezed her side. He boldly put his hands on her chair. He looked at her with a pair of pure eyes like a fawn. There was surprise in his eyes, as well as careful love. "Your Highness, you are so beautiful," he said softly. Wei Wei Bai looked at him coldly. "Everyone knows that I am ugly. Little six, they're talking nonsense. You are very beautiful. .. Chapter 2268. Wei Wei Bai lightly rubbed the edge of the wine cup. Even if it's to curry favor with this consort will be happy to hear it. Little Six tilted his head and said softly, "Your Highness, this servant is sincere. You will understand this servant's sincerity." He thought the princess was ugly and was tired of her. Her smile just now made him realize how ridiculous the world was. The princess was beautiful and had great power. When the assassination began, it would be time for him to express his loyalty. Another youth also walked over, holding a wine pot and smiling very affectionately. "Your Highness, your wine." Saying so, he came over to pour wine for her, but suddenly smashed the wine bottle. After this shattering sound, there was the cold sound of a blade being unsheathed. Immediately, the guard screamed and fell into the water. The smell of blood filled the boat. Wei Wei Bai's expression changed. The youth who smashed the bottle took out a short knife and stabbed at Wei Wei Bai's chest. Lil Six also took the chance to kick that youth away. He hurriedly tried to pull Wei Wei Bai's hand. Wei Wei Bai thought of her allergy and retreated a few steps. Little Six's face flashed with panic. "Your Highness doesn't believe me? I won't harm you." He was so sad that tears came out, looking like a little white flower. Wei Wei Bai thought for a bit, then handed her sleeve to him. Little Six immediately smiled, grabbing her sleeve and running into the boat. When Liamo stepped on the water, he saw Wei Wei Bai's slender and beautiful back running into the boat like a butterfly. And she was actually holding a little slut's hand. As expected, women were not good things. Yesterday, they had sworn an oath of eternal love, Shao Ali, Shao Ali. Today, there was another little lover. Liamo appeared on the boat like a killing god. Looking at those killers, there were quite a few good-looking youths. "Look, these damned little bastards. What's the use of being good-looking? They're all going to harm her." Liamo pulled out his sword. The sword light was like satin, covering the youth's eyes. Stunning and cold. In the blink of an eye, all the assassins who had rushed out were killed on the spot. Liamo relied on his martial prowess and ruthless scheming to climb up from the bottom. These gigolos were flashy but impractical. What use were they? Wei Wei Bai fled to the top of the boat. Little Six grabbed onto her sleeves tightly. His face was red. "Your Highness, you hide under the bed first. I'll go out and block them." Wei Wei Bai raised her eyebrows, and her gaze became much gentler. She counted the time. At the exact second, she reached out and gently touched Little Six's hair. He didn't dare to touch his scalp. Her voice was sweet and gentle. "Little Sixth, this consort will remember your kindness to this consort." As soon as he finished speaking, the ship's door was torn open by the sword light. Outside the door, a young man in black stood. His sharp gaze was clear and ruthless. His fair cheeks were stained with blood. It was as beautiful as a mandala, but extremely vicious. He saw the girl's slender and beautiful fingers resting on the other boy's head. Just like how she treated him, she stroked that boy's hair. Limo's long and thick eyelashes trembled. His thin red lips also seemed to be stained with blood. With a sinister smile, he smiled coldly. It was originally a treasure that only belonged to him, even if it wasn't the one he treasured the most. But it was tainted by another man. Limo's desire to monopolize it surged. He looked at the boy viciously. He entered the cabin with a blood-stained sword in his hand. It was so cold that it made people tremble. "Your Highness, this subject is late." Limo walked forward step by step. His voice was sweet and hoarse, but his aura was like that of a demon. He couldn't wait to devour this unchaste girl on the spot. He was the one who tricked and deceived her. In the end, he managed to trick her into falling for him. But the next day, she changed. Limo felt that he was angry. Chapter 2269. The youth was like a demon from hell. His dark eyes and blood-stained cheeks made him look like a delicate puppet. When he smiled, he was as bright as the sun. When he was ruthless, he was evil and bloodthirsty. His beautiful eyes stared coldly at the youth. He was so ugly, so short, and so skinny. A stunted ugly. Wei Wei Bai saw him, and her eyes flashed with surprise. She retracted her hand. Ali? Limo only felt endless killing intent rolling in his chest. But seeing that Wei Wei Bai didn't care about the ugly guy, he was happy to see him. He forced himself to restrain his killing intent. In front of the princess, he walked the path of a pure and sunny youth. He couldn't break his character. Limo's cold eyes swept over Lil Six, his expression cold. Bai Wei Wei was just about to lift her skirt and walk over. But Limo was like the wind, quickly appearing in front of her. He grabbed her waist and lifted her up. His tone was urgent. "Your Highness, I'm late." Saying so, his fingers gently pressed down on her floating veil. His bloodthirsty eyes softened. "I'll take you back now." He pressed Bai Wei Wei into his arms. His tone was extremely soft, but his eyes swept over the youth with contempt and coldness. Then he walked out without hesitation. The cabin was filled with the terrible smell of blood. Limo stepped over the blood. The ship was already sinking. He kicked a small boat into the lake. He was as light as a bird, landing on the boat with her in his arms. Wei Wei Bai seemed to want to say something, but Limo suddenly cut her off. "Your Highness, my ability is limited. I can only save you. The rest can die." Wei Wei Bai wanted to bring back the unconscious ones and torture them, destroy the princes. In the end, Limo completely ignored him. Bai Wei Wei sat in the boat. Limo fastened his long sword to his waist. Then he rowed himself and slowly made his way to the shore. Limo's chest was stifling. He couldn't even put on a smile. He looked at the girl sitting on the boat. The corner of her skirt was stained with blood, and the face behind the veil was extremely hazy. He couldn't see her expression clearly, but he could see that she was staring at him calmly and attentively. Limo felt like he had nowhere to vent the anger in his chest. "Your Highness, this is a special time. There are many people out there who want to harm you. In the future, you should bring some reliable followers with you when you go out." Wei Wei Bai paused slightly, but did not say anything. He could only hear the young man's nagging. "Look at the people you brought with you. Which one of them can protect you? Some of them even want to harm you. Now that you are involved in the struggle for the throne, how can you be so careless?" The boat had already reached the shore. The young man was still fuming and didn't even look at her. He threw a terrible tantrum. Wei Wei Bai was silent for a while before slowly saying, "Ali, are you jealous?" Limo's fingers, which were holding the oar, stiffened. His previously unhappy cold face suddenly flushed red. He turned back, his eyes shining beautifully as he said word by word, "Yes, I am jealous." There was obviously some hypocrisy in his words. However, his words were powerful and resonant. Liamo didn't even know how much sincerity was hidden behind those words. Wei Wei Bai's smile became more obvious. She reached out and gently placed her finger on the back of his hand. "You're too impatient, aren't you?" She was gentle and indifferent, graceful as a light breeze. / for the convenience of your next reading, you can click on the button below to record this reading record. Chapter 2270. I also know that they are up to no good, so I brought them on board to provoke them to assassinate me, so that I can catch them all in one fell swoop. Limo's fingers stiffened as his heart skipped a beat. Wei Wei Bai said casually, "Now that there are many people trying to assassinate me, I could be the bait to lure out the mastermind behind it." Limo's expression was complicated. "Your Highness, do you want to fight for a higher position?" With her position, she didn't need to spend so much effort. As long as she made it clear that she didn't want to fight for power and relied on her connections, she could stay out of it. Wei Wei Bai saw that the boat had reached the shore and slowly got up. Liamo held her hand, afraid that she would fall. The girl's eyes reddened as she looked at him deeply. "I don't like a higher position." Her voice was so soft and light. "The one I like is this consort's Ali." Liamo looked at her in a daze, seeing the sincerity and tenderness in her eyes. She laughed in a low voice, with a hint of shyness. "I know Ali likes a higher position, so I will help Ali clear all obstacles so that you can get what you want. Okay?" It was a simple sentence, full of firm and heavy promises. Limo's lies, sweet words to scare people. At this moment, under the girl's deep feelings, they seemed so pale and speechless. He moved his thin lips, feeling like he was going to lie. His tongue felt like it had been cut by a knife. Liamo stiffened and couldn't help but lower his head, his voice unnatural. "I just want the princess to be safe and sound. I don't care about a higher position." Wei Wei Bai seemed to be stunned. Then she couldn't help but laugh. "Hearing you say that, I am willing to go through water and tread on fire." Liamo bit his lip so hard that he tasted blood. Bitter, uncomfortable. Wei Wei Bai didn't seem to notice his awkwardness. She lifted her skirt with one hand and wanted to go ashore. Liamo called in a low voice, "Princess." Wei Wei Bai said softly, "Hmm?" Liamo lowered his eyes, hiding the flickering light in his eyes as he spoke in a low voice. "Sorry to offend you." With that, he grabbed her slender waist and lifted her up horizontally. She was petite, light, and delicate. She was so fragile that he could crush her body with one hand. Yet, he was able to make such a beautiful promise. For his sake, she had to clear everything. Liamo jumped onto the shore and walked forward without a word. Wei Wei Bai's fingers gently pressed against his firm chest. "Commander, we're ashore. I should walk on my own." Liamo lowered his eyelashes and said firmly, "The road is dirty. I'll carry you." After saying that, he left without giving her a chance to refuse. Wei Wei Bai was afraid that others would see, so she could only wrap her hands around his neck and hide her face in his chest. The girl's fragrance made Liamo unable to loosen his grip. He only felt that this path could actually be longer. Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 40. After the lake incident, Liamo heard the result of the assassination the next day. Several of the surviving assassins were fished out of the lake and tortured. The first and second princes were implicated. Even the seriously ill emperor heard about it. In the morning, he summoned Bai Weiwei and the two princes to confront each other. Liamo knew that Wei Wei Bai was completely opposed to the two princes who were vying for the throne. From now on, it would be a battle between the eldest princess and the princes. And he was like a demon hiding in the dark, waiting for them to fight each other. It would be best if they all died together. To make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2271. To sit back and reap the benefits. The strategist's pen gently circled the names of the second prince and the first prince. We save a lot of trouble. Many of our plans were not used. Things went unbelievably smoothly. Fang Qingyun said in a carefree manner. Liu Mo was sharpening his sword bit by bit. When he was upset, he would sharpen his sword and grind out his hostility. Fang Qingyun knew he was not feeling well, but she could not comfort him. After all, the eldest princess was now on the stage of power, facing failure and death at any time. Liu Mo, on the other hand, was well protected. That powerful girl gave all her gentleness to her Li. Liu Mo pursed his lips. An incomparably complicated feeling tore at the depths of his clear and ruthless eyes. In the end, reason prevailed. It's not enough. The fight isn't fierce enough. His voice was low and cold. Fang Qingyun turned around and saw the youth's loose hair and deceptively handsome face. There was a kind of cold cruelty that made people fear. She had always known that Liu Mo was cold, hard, and vicious. Otherwise, he would not have climbed up from a battlefield filled with corpses and stepped on countless blood. There were many powerful generals, but in the end, they didn't get as many benefits as he did, because he was ruthless enough to pretend, and unscrupulous enough. Some bad people had a bottom line, such as family, lovers, and friends. Only Liu Mo did not. He could use his family and betray his friends. Even at the critical moment, Fang Qingyun felt that Liu Mo would stab him with a knife. This was also why she liked Liu Mo. This kind of wild and ferocious nature was the key to becoming a great person. Fang Qingyun watched as the fingers he used to sharpen the sword were cut by the blade, and blood gushed out. The youth did not feel the pain and continued to sharpen, as if to grind away some feelings in his heart that he should not have. Strategist Fang said cautiously, "If you are willing to wait, the princess may be able to defeat the prince." Liu Mo raised his eyelids and looked at him, his eyes terrifying. Then he continued to sharpen his sword, his voice so cold that it left no room for discussion. "The princess is too good to me." Strategist. "Is it not good to be good to you? Was this not his goal?" Liu Mo lowered his eyes. The blood on his fingers seeped into the blade. "So good that I can't stand it." He was faster than anyone else to notice the faint feeling in his heart. Fang Qingyun was stunned and frowned. Are you really moved?" Liu Mo sneered, "No, not yet," as if he wanted to deny it. He kept repeating his own words. Fang Qingyun clenched her fists. "Liu Mo, you have to think clearly. It's not too late to give up. Give up glory, wealth, and supreme power." He wanted to be a military officer in peace and erase all traces of using the princess in the past. This way, at least. At this rate, the princess would eventually find out that she was betrayed by Liu Mo, because the person Liu Mo supported from the beginning was the little prince Bai Ning. At that time, he and Bai Weiwei were in an irreconcilable situation. Li, he chose to betray to gain power. Fang Qingyun stood there for a long time before sighing. "All right, let's hurry." Liu Mo finished sharpening his sword, put on his black clothes, tied up his hair, and turned to open the window. The strategist behind him asked again, "No regrets?" The youth's movement paused. // button next time. When you open the bookshelf, you will see it, if you like. Chapter 2272. You can search time travel system. Prince Charming, come to search book www.sashu.com in Baidu to find the. After a long silence, Liu Mo said coldly, "I have never regretted it. Regret is the most useless emotion in this world." He pushed open the window and left. Only the strategist was left standing there. After a long time, the strategist took out an apple and ate it. "Sigh, I hope I don't regret it. Otherwise, with Grand Princess's torture methods, if she really hated someone, Liu Mo would definitely be killed. Only when you love someone will you lose. It's fine as long as the winner doesn't regret it." The second prince slammed the table. "That bitch, why is she suddenly so eager to fight for power? She's just a woman. Even if she's the legitimate princess, so what? The empress is dead. Does she want to be the second person in power behind the curtain? The former empress was everyone's nightmare. She had been in power behind the curtain for more than 20 years. All important matters of state were handled by her. She agreed. The emperor was just a decoration. This was a disgrace to the imperial family. Wei Weibai jumped out and went against them. It angered all the princes and most of the imperial family. Everyone was afraid of a second female in power. Several officials immediately advised, "Your Highness, Grand Princess is digging her own grave." Second prince waved his sleeve, scram, scram. "Just looking at you annoys me. If I was better, I would have killed that bitch long ago." After driving everyone away, Second Prince's face was gloomy as he ordered someone to call the songstress. As long as he was annoyed, he would torture others to relax. When Liamo flew to the eaves, the house was a mess. The woman's cries were tragic. Liamo looked at her coldly. At the crucial moment, he covered his face and entered the house like the Grim Reaper. Not long after, the woman screamed. He carried Second Prince's head and flew out of the house. Liamo's movements were fast, but couldn't cover the woman's screams. Soon, the guard in the house appeared one after another. The noisy crowd rushed in. The archers also shot. Liamo frowned and flew to the eaves with the head in his hand. His sword was nimble and took down several experts. But the moment he left the house, an arrow pierced his shoulder. He held his breath. Although he had deliberately allowed himself to be shot, he had still underestimated the extent of his injury. Liamo forced himself to stay alert and immediately jumped out of the prince's residence, disappearing into the night. The pursuing officers and soldiers behind them also brought out several hunting dogs and immediately chased after them. The second prince was dead. Everyone knew that if the murderer was allowed to escape, they would not be able to escape. What awaited them was the great crime of beheading and the extermination of their families. Liamo hurried to the Grand Prince's estate and threw the head inside. Because of the previous empress, no one had been able to sit on the position of crown prince. Even the great prince, who was supposed to inherit the position of crown prince, could only leave the palace and build a manor. He pressed his finger on the wound and furrowed his brows. The pain was making him dizzy. The hounds followed the smell of blood and chased after him, howling and not letting go. There was one last step. Liamo's footsteps were somewhat hesitant, but in the end, he still ran towards the princess's residence. The pursuers behind him followed closely. Liamo's eyes were cold and cruel as he suppressed the uneasiness in his heart. When he saw the princess' residence, his breathing quickened. In the end, he jumped into the princess' residence. The bloodstains disappeared outside the back door of the princess mansion. Some of the hounds and soldiers had already surrounded the grand prince's residence, but most of them were still chasing after the murderer. When they reached the princess' residence, the soldiers looked at each other. The head disappeared in the grand prince's residence, but the murderer disappeared in the princess' residence. Say button at the bottom to record your reading record. Chapter 2273. So, who was the mastermind behind the murderer? They seemed to be involved in a cruel royal family war. Wei Weibai was watching the uncut version of Pleasant Goat and Big Bad Wolf with the system. The system suddenly said, "Damn, your little Ali is here." Wei Weibai was eating dried apricots and said casually, "Is he here to have a date with me under the moon to admire the flowers and recite poems?" The system said, "No, he's here to take your life. He killed the second prince and wants to frame you." Wei Weibai almost choked on the dried apricot. This guy is too evil. I love him so wholeheartedly, and he's willing to frame me as a murderer? 40 affability points must have moved him. She must have liked him. Although it wasn't deep love, there were still feelings. She thought she was pretending to be gentle and infatuated. For him, she would go through mountains of swords and seas of fire. He would be touched. This would free up time for them to spend more time together. Liamo would be influenced by her and gain more affability points. But this wolf cub was just moved. He was pushing her into the fire pit. During this time, did Liamo do that kind of thing? He called her Your Highness in front of her. Her back was like a knife stabbing into her beautiful back one by one. If he wanted to frame her for killing the second prince, there would be no way. She didn't have any benefits or motives. But now that she went against the second prince for Liemo, the reason for killing the second prince was established. Moreover, there were many powerful people in the royal family who didn't want to see a second woman ruling from behind the curtain. So even if she was framed, there were many people who wanted to kill her, to frame her and let her die. So Liemo's move was to kill the second prince. He must have planned this for a long time to frame her and drag the first prince down. After all this, in the end, besides the little prince supported by Liemo, the rest of the powerful people wanted to die together. Wei Wei Bai snorted and hid the dried apricot. Then she lay on the bed and pretended to be asleep. Liemo gently pushed open the window and saw a gorgeous bed behind the gauze curtain. A graceful figure was lying on the side, quietly. She seemed to be fast asleep. The young lady's boudoir was filled with an unknown fragrance. Liemo, on the other hand, knew that her body smelled much better than these fragrances. He pursed his lips and breathed heavily. He clutched the sword in his hand with a cloth wrapped around his palm. On top of it were the wounds that he had made himself. It was to grind away his feelings for her. The wound on his shoulder was still bleeding. Soon, the soldiers and hunting dogs would be here. Tomorrow, she and the eldest prince would be accused of murdering the eldest prince. After that, it would be his world. This was because the most powerful people had all met with problems. If he were to add fuel to the fire, both the eldest princess and the eldest prince would be destroyed. The plan was going too smoothly. Even Liemo felt that he was extremely lucky. He was able to gain her favor and then use her love to push her into the abyss. Perhaps because the breathing was too heavy, the girl lying on the bed frowned. She opened her eyes and looked over in a daze. Liemo wanted to dodge. After all he had to do was leave the bloodstains here. Then he would run. She would have no way to explain herself. The murderer's bloodstains were in her boudoir. How could she be innocent? But when she opened her hazy eyes and looked at him foolishly, he froze. Like a child who had done something wrong, he didn't dare to move. Slash. Chapter 2274. Even his chest seemed to have turned into a whetstone. Being rubbed by her gentle gaze, it was painful. Wei Wei Bai blinked. Then she closed her eyes sleepily. Why am I dreaming of Ali again? This sentence was vague and delicate. Liemo could only feel a strange numbness in his heart that was already aching from the grinding of his heart. He pursed his lips and didn't say anything, only hiding in the darkness and quietly watching her. Wei Wei Bai was at a loss for a moment, then seemed to have realized something, her eyes trembling. Almost immediately, she got up and pulled open the curtain, shouting in disbelief, "Ali!" Liemo lowered his eyes, silent. Wei Wei Bai had already seen the wound on his shoulder. Her unusually beautiful face in the shadows suddenly became cold and solemn. The flames of anger ignited in her eyes. "Who was it that hurt you?" These words were cold and austere. Liemo didn't say anything, only feeling that he was too bad. He framed her and even pretended to be pitiful in front of her. Bai Weiwei hurried over. She was wearing a thin white dress and was barefoot. Under the dusky moonlight, the girl's beautiful fingertips held a lamp, lighting up the entire room. The light shone brightly. The youth was dressed in black. His beautiful face was still stained with blood. His arm was full of blood. It dripped to the ground. It was a ghastly sight. Weiwei Bai's eyes flashed with panic. She anxiously approached him. Her hands wanted to touch his wound, but she didn't dare to. "Sit down, I'll call a doctor for you." Her eyes were red, and she was about to cry. Liemo's heart was pricked by needles, numbing and painful. He impulsively reached out and grabbed her arm, pulling her back as she was about to leave. Weiwei Bai fell into his arms that reeked of blood. Liemo buried his head in her slender shoulder, his nose full of the fragrance of her hair. His voice was low and hoarse. "Oh, Wei, I did something bad." Weiwei Bai paused, and her body stiffened. Then she reached out and hugged his waist. Her voice was incomparably soft. "It's okay to do something wrong. I'll take responsibility for you." These words were simple and unusually calm. Liemo shuddered and his eyes turned red. He moved his lips, but the girl had already pressed him to the side of her bed. She stretched out her hand and gently stroked his face, wiping away the blood on his face. What was revealed was a young man's pale, delicate, and murderous face. His eyes were filled with confusion, and he didn't dare to look at her. The expression on Wei Wei Bai's beautiful face was unusually calm, but her eyes were filled with heartache. "Don't be afraid. No one can harm you." After saying that, she used the scissors to tear open his sleeve. Then, she used a white silk cloth to bind his wound. Outside the door, there was already a commotion. Wei Wei Bai was as calm as ever. After stopping his bleeding, she said in a low voice, "Stay here and don't go anywhere. I'll go take care of some small matters and call a doctor for you." Li Mo's expression stiffened. He looked at her with an unusually strange and confused expression. "If I say, I'll kill." A finger gently pressed against his lips. The beautiful girl said softly, "Shoo, you've never killed anyone." After saying that, Wei Wei Bai pulled the veil, covering Li Mo's figure. Then she took the veil and put it on her face. "Servants, help me change." Wei Wei Bai's voice was cold and domineering. The servant hurriedly opened the door, lit the light, and helped Wei Wei Bai change. Wei Wei Bai was wearing a princess dress. Her long hair was tied up into a bun, and she wore a gorgeous hairpin and beaded flowers. To TXT. Chapter 2275. Even if he couldn't see her face. Her posture was still elegant, dignified and dignified. Li Mo sat on the bed, looking at her thin back, but it was as tall as a mountain. It gave people a sense of security, as if she could protect anyone with a lift of her hand. Li Mo touched the cloth on his arm. Blood had seeped out, soaking the white cloth. This wound, if he treated it himself, he could quickly stop the bleeding and apply some medicine. He would be fine in less than 10 days. But she didn't know how to do that. When she bandaged his wound, her fingers were clumsy and trembling. Of course, who would let her do such heavy work? She was born with a silver spoon in her mouth. She grew up in prosperity. Everything about her was precious and beautiful. Li Mo sat there blankly, holding the cloth. He had to leave from the beginning. He couldn't stay here. Who knew that Wei Wei Bai knew he killed the second prince's descendant? Would she suddenly go back on her word and hand him over as the murderer? He never gambled on human nature, because human nature was vicious and selfish. He was the most selfish of them all. No one understood the meaning of vicious better than him. So he shouldn't have stayed. He shouldn't have let the princess see his face. He shouldn't have let her know what he did wrong, and then threw the blame to her. But when he stepped into her room, a crazy thought appeared in his mind. He suddenly wanted to gamble. The princess's feelings for him. If he killed the prince, would she still protect him? This thought surged, and he was at a loss. But he still did it. It was crazy. Li Mo covered his mouth, his eyes revealing a dark confusion. He didn't know how to do such a stupid thing. Li Mo slowly raised his head. He suddenly lifted the curtain and disappeared from the room like a ghost. In the blink of an eye, he was on the eaves of the hall. He moved a tile and saw the lights below. The pursuing soldiers and leader knelt and said excitedly, "Your Highness, please let the subordinates search. The murderer is definitely hiding in the residence." Wei Wei Bai sat in the main seat. She held a teacup in her hand and unhurriedly used the teacup to wipe away the foam. Her voice was extremely cold. "Just who dares to come to my princess residence and wake me up in the middle of the night just because of this stupid matter?" Li Mo was slightly taken aback. She had always been gentle and shy in front of him, but he had never thought that she could be so scary when she was cold and stern. "Your Highness, even if you stop us today, we will still find the murderer who killed the second prince." Wei Wei Bai lifted her eyelids slightly. There was only a cold luster in her beautiful eyes. She stood up and threw the teacup on the ground. What kind of person dares to behave atrociously in this consort's territory? Her voice was soft, but cold and calm. "Men, drag them out and give them 30 strokes to wake them up." After saying that, she slowly turned around. Her cold and stiff back was under the light. A cruel light and shadow was drawn out. He said that the bloodstains that came to the princess's residence were the culprits. She scoffed coldly and reached for a small pair of scissors to cut off the wick. The light brightened. It made her delicate and cold eyes even more beautiful and clear. Then I will use your blood to wash away the bloodstains in my residence. Liam O lay on the eaves. He could only feel his heart beating wildly in his chest. His breathing was not smooth. He reached out to pinch the wound on his arm. It seemed that only this pain could make him shift his gaze away from Wei Wei Bai. /save button at the bottom to record your reading record. Chapter 2276. She had always been the eldest princess. She was the powerful and frightening king who grew up in the center of power. But in front of him, she was always careful and gentle. A shy girl, not daring to express her feelings. He was the only one who received it. Liam O laid on the roof, knowing for the first time. What kind of feelings did he have for that girl? He lowered his eyes, only feeling the fluttering emotions in his chest. They began to grow strong. Ding! The male lead's favorability has increased to 50. The system heard the increase in favorability. It actually increased by 10 points. Wei Wei Bai was very calm and was about to say something pretentious. The system helped her. It's all the host's fault for her unparalleled beauty. It's a sin, a sin. Wei Wei Bai. After the pretentious act, Wei Wei Bai entered the room. She saw Liam O was already treating his wound. He lowered his eyes, not making a sound. His technique was fast, and he even brought the powder himself. Once again, the blood-soaked silk was wrapped around the wound that had been treated. After it was done, he said in a low voice, "I dirtied your bed." The murderous intent in by Wei Wei's eyes disappeared, and she slowly walked over. Then she removed all her hairpins, letting her long hair fall on her shoulders. Li Mo's eyelashes trembled, looking at her helplessly. Wei Wei Bai was very calm, taking off the princess's heavy clothes, revealing a light white dress. She also took off the pearl-studded shoes and the veil. In an instant, she became that delicate girl under the moonlight. The princess's aura was completely gone. If Liam Mo hadn't seen her treating someone else, he wouldn't have believed it. They couldn't believe that this girl had such an iron-blooded and strong side. Wei Wei Bai said softly, "It's fine. Are your wounds serious? I have good medicine for wounds. I will have someone bring it to you." Liam O looked at her in a daze, his eyes dim, his expression complicated. Wei Wei Bai showed a trace of distress. "The second prince is dead. I can't call a doctor for you. It will implicate you. When you go back later, find someone to testify for you that you didn't leave the house. Do you understand?" Liam O pursed his lips, his voice dry. "You know," Wei Wei Bai smiled and shook her head. "I don't care what Ali did. I only care if you're happy and if someone hurt you." Liam O froze, as if he was bound by something, unable to move an inch. She had never experienced such adoration, pity, and love. It was like a terrifying tide that swept him away. It made him feel suffocated. The death of his second prince was a big deal. Even if she was the eldest princess, how much power did she have? Once she was involved in the prince's murder case, she could also die. Wei Wei Bai thought he was afraid. She reached out and hugged him slowly. She said in a low voice, "Don't be afraid, Ali. I'll settle everything for you." Liam O was silent for a while before finally asking, "Why are you so good to me?" Wei Wei Bai thought for a while before bursting into laughter. Her face was burning red. "Maybe it's because liking Ali is my destiny." The girl's smile was charming, sincere, and happy. Liam O felt as if something was stuck in his throat. It was so stifling that he couldn't breathe. His fingers froze. Finally, his fingers gently landed on her hair. His voice was so low it was almost inaudible. "You're also mine. I like guilty conscience, cowardice." All of a sudden, it surged up, making him unable to even utter a single lie. Or perhaps it wasn't a lie. Download the at https://m. Sashu. com// to make it easier for you to read next time. You can click save below to record this chapter. Chapter 2277. Liam O didn't know how he left the princess's residence. He stumbled open the door of the study and saw Fong Qingyun sitting in front of the desk with a serious expression. The desk was covered in papers. Fang Qingyan finally let out a sigh of relief when she saw Li Mo return. Tonight's plan was especially risky. Even after so long, they finally dragged the princess and the eldest prince into the trap. However, if they made a single wrong step, their lives would be forfeit. The prince's life was to be exterminated. Li Mo didn't look at his counselor when he returned, instead throwing his sword away. Then he shivered as he returned to his familiar recliner. With his back to everyone, he hugged himself and curled up. Fang Qingyun sensed something was wrong with him. Fail! Li Mo shook his head. I killed him and threw his head in the eldest prince's residence. Then I went to the princess's residence. Wasn't that a success? Get the blood in the princess's residence. So the head was with the eldest prince. The murderer's blood was with the princess. No one could escape. But Li Mo's next sentence made Fang Qingyun's heart jump. Awei saw me. Fang Qingyun's expression changed. If she saw you, wouldn't she know you killed him? Then the aftermath will be troublesome. Get the blood in the princess's residence. This was a blatant frame-up. The princess saw Li Mo and heard the second prince was dead. Was Li Mo still alive? Fang Qingyun took a deep breath. Pack up immediately and get the hell out of here. I'll clean it up. If the princess saw them, there would be a bunch of soldiers coming to take them to pay with their lives tomorrow. Li Mo's voice was cold and weak. No need. Fang Qingyun paused and looked at him in confusion. But she saw that his back was abnormal. Because he used too much force, the veins on his neck were bulging. She protected me and punished all the soldiers, not letting anyone search the princess's residence. Because he was still in the princess's residence. She also asked me to find a witness to prove that I didn't leave tonight and had nothing to do with the second prince's death. Fang Qingyun was silent. There must be a witness. With such a big matter, the prince's death involved an uncontrollable rage. When Li Mo went to kill, Fang Qingyun had arranged for a confidant and a person with Li Mo's figure to go out to drink. Then, intentionally or unintentionally, he would mention it. The place would be affected. Li Mo was in the tavern last night. People's memories were wrong, coupled with the fact that the tavern was exceptionally lively. Who knew if someone would really come or leave? As long as he left an impression, Li Mo would definitely have a bunch of witnesses the next day. Then, even if the witnesses didn't see him, they would still think that they drank with Li Mo. This was all arranged by Fang Qingyun. Fang Qingyun sighed. She took the completed plans and lit them up. Li Mo didn't say anything. Li Mo. His cheeks were so puffed up that he didn't even know how big they looked. It was late at night. Fang Qingyun Li Mo for a long time. Just before dawn, Li Mo finally opened his mouth. Fang Qingyun, it hurts. Li Mo's childhood was absurd. This was also the reason why he didn't allow others to bully him, and even his vicious and selfish nature. Li Mo, my heart hurts. I can't bear it. Fang Qingyun. I've never been tempted. I don't know how to help you. / to facilitate your next reading, you can click Chapter 2278. The wrath of an emperor was so cowardly and incompetent that it could shake the imperial court. As for the two suspects, they were both his children, the eldest princess and the eldest prince. The next day, the imperial guards went to arrest them early in the morning. They entered the palace to be interrogated. Yes, they were both princes, but the matter was so serious that it was alarming. If they were not careful, both the eldest prince and the eldest princess would die. When Li Mo heard the news, he heard that the imperial guards broke into the eldest princess's residence and forced the princess to leave. He held the blood-stained brocade in his hand and sat by the window. His delicate face was cold and conflicted. A young attendant suddenly rushed over. It was the princess's servant. Li Mo looked at him strangely. The servant secretly gave Li Mo a small package. Her Highness said that if she can't come out, then you can take this. After the little attendant finished speaking, he quickly left. Li Mo looked at the package blankly, his fingers nervously pinching it. He was stunned for a while. He opened the package little by little. It was a wooden box. In the wooden box, there were pieces of evidence. They were all the private evidence of the important officials in the imperial court. She herself was incomparably graceful, and what she wrote was actually something that could cause a reign of terror. Apart from these important evidence, she could control countless officials. There were also the civil officials she had specially arranged to be roped in. Their likes and dislikes, how to approach them, what were the benefits. Liamo looked at these things in a daze. This was a treasure of power. It was also the most important thing that the former empress left for Wei Wei Bai. The eldest princess's power mostly came from the support of these important officials. The maintenance of interests had always been cautious and cruel. She also wrote on a piece of paper, "Li, if I can get out safely this time, I will continue to protect you." If. His eyelashes trembled when he saw this sentence. His heart was blocked, and he felt extremely uncomfortable. "If I'm not here, you won't have my protection in the future. Be careful and don't be rash." Liamo looked at the letter in a daze. Every sentence was not about love, but every word was full of affection. Liamo looked at it helplessly. He was the one who started it. He wanted to seduce her, make her fall for him, and make her be his stepping stone. He wanted to soar into the sky and obtain the candy with the greatest power, and the sugar was wrapped in the blade. He thought that the only thing she could do for him was to give him some small benefits. But who would have thought? She actually went to pick the candy and gave it to him with her bloody fingers. But he had never asked for a single thing from him. Liamo had never been doted on like this. To be wholeheartedly protected, loved, and doted on without asking for anything in return. He stood beside the table, and on the table was the box that represented power. His slender figure was actually unable to stand straight. He hung his head, his hands on the table, tottering on the verge of collapsing. After a long time, he finally thought of something. The princess had been escorted to the palace, but her residence was further away than the first prince's. They should still be on the way. Liamo seemed to have been stabbed. He wrapped the wooden box, slung it on his back, and rushed out. He mounted his horse and galloped in the direction of palace. At this moment, he even forgot about the power that he wanted. His own vicious selfishness. All he wanted was a look from her. Ding! The male lead's favorability has increased to 55. Wei Wei Bai was escorted, but she was still in a carriage. The imperial guards surrounded her and rushed towards the imperial palace. /save button below to record your reading record. Chapter 2279. When they arrived at the entrance of the palace, Wei Wei Bai lifted her skirt and got off the carriage. From afar, she saw Liamo carrying a bag, galloping over. The youth had a murderous and desolate aura, as if he had been wronged. The imperial guards surrounded him, so he couldn't come over. Pulling the reins, he could only sit on the horse and stare blankly at her. Wei Wei Bai was separated by the crowd. She wore a veil, but there was a pattern drawn between her eyebrows. Beautiful and gorgeous. Her hair was gorgeous and complicated. This was the style of the eldest princess, strong and indifferent. But when she saw him, her expression softened. In the sunlight, her eyes smiled. Her smile was soft and affectionate. Liamo wanted to say something. He wanted to take her away, or he wanted to return the box of power to her. But his mind was blank. Only the smile in her eyes was the clearest. Then Wei Wei Bai shook her head at him. She straightened her posture and walked into the palace step by step. The palace gates closed with a bang, and also closed Liamo's eyes. Liamo rode on the horse in a daze, as if he didn't know what to do. After a long time, he vaguely felt a surge of guilt in his heart. He got too much, too easily. All the difficulties and harm were borne by another person, but he was still thinking of how to betray her. This kind of guilt was very strange to him. Because he used unscrupulous means to get something, he felt it was his. Other people's weakness or kindness were things he could use to his advantage. He had never felt guilty along the way, but for the first time, he actually felt this kind of emotion so unbearable. It really hurt. Liamo returned in a daze. Fang Qingyan was already waiting. When he heard that Liamo was riding to the palace, his heart was in his mouth. During this time, Liamo's mood fluctuated greatly. Sometimes, Fang Qingyan didn't know what he wanted. In the past, Liamo's goal was clear. Nothing would affect his judgment. He had never wavered. But ever since he seduced the princess, Liemo slowly changed, always doubting himself and wavering. In the past, Liemo wouldn't even say silly things like whether the victim would forgive him or not. But toward the princess, he had a guilty conscience several times. If she forgave him or not. What a silly question. He was too foolish. Liemo returned and gave the box to Fang Qingyun. These will allow me to soar into the sky. Fang Qingyun took out those things and looked at them page by page. She was extremely shocked. These were given to you by the eldest princess. Liemo squatted at the door with his head bowed. Fang Qingyun was silent for a long time before saying, Liemo, if there is one person who loves you, it would be her. It was easy to make use of emotions. A person with a hard heart would always be able to gain an advantage in a relationship. Liemo was a cold-hearted person, but they didn't expect this. He could get so much out of using her feelings. Who was the eldest princess? She was one of the most respected people in the empire. As long as she didn't court death, she could live a life of luxury. Even if the new emperor succeeded the throne, he would not be able to touch her. But for Liemo's sake, she was willing to bear the suspicion of killing her brother and couldn't bear to say anything bad about him. She was even afraid that she wouldn't be able to escape. Liemo didn't have the capital to settle down, so she transferred all her connections to him. Fang Qingyun could be considered knowledgeable and had been following Liemo around for the past few years. / to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save. Chapter 2280. He had seen all kinds of people and experienced all kinds of things. He was the only one with such deep feelings. Seducing the princess was the most successful shortcut for them to obtain the most benefits. Liemo's eyes, which had always been wild and bright, were dull and dull. He squatted and counted ants, not talking to Fang Qingyun. It was as if he didn't need to think about how much he had gained, and how much Wei Bai would lose. Fang Qingyun couldn't say anything. After all, he had gained all the benefits. If Liemo could think it through, if he kicked the princess away and did it alone, he could use this box to gain the most benefits. There was a long silence. Counselor Fang thought Liemo was still upset. He looked up and was about to comfort him, but he saw Liemo use his finger to draw circles on the ground. Under his fingertips were a few ants. Counselor Fang, after Liemo poked a few ants to death, he felt better. He looked up and his eyes were bright again. It was like a little beast full of energy. I told you the princess likes me very much. Counselor, yes, she likes you. The youth suddenly showed a bright smile, his eyes curved. So we have to speed up. Otherwise, I can't bear it. His words were gentle, but still cruel. She's too good, so good that I feel bad. So we have to defeat the eldest prince quickly, make the princess a mere figurehead, and support Bai Ning. At that time, Liemo's beautiful eyes were covered with a layer of oppressive darkness. I will be good to her. The throbbing and guilt in his heart stimulated his instincts. A moment of soft-heartedness made him more vicious. It was as if this was the only way to hide the restless emotions in the depths of his heart. Fang Qingyun calmly closed the box. It's good that you can think it through. Don't regret it. Liemo lowered his eyes, pinching the ants with his fingers. He whispered, I won't regret it. It was as if he was convincing himself, but also convincing others. Wei Bai waited for a long time, but there was no notification of favorability. She thought that when Liemo rushed to the palace gate, his heart must have been moved. In the end, he gave such a good connection to that damned little vixen. That little vixen had obtained power, but her favorability only increased by that little bit. Sure enough, men don't cherish what they have. The emperor's face was incomparably pale. He coughed and said, As long as you hand over the murderer, I will not pursue the matter. The first prince cried out, Father, how could I do that to second brother? Our relationship was so good. If he dies, my heart will break. The emperor, that head was found in your courtyard, and you still dare to say that it's not related? The great prince shouted, Would I be so stupid as to leave the head at home after killing someone? It's all because of some extremely vicious people who want to frame me. When he said extremely vicious, his eyes looked at Bai Weiwei. Weiwei Bai remained calm and didn't say anything. The emperor also shifted his gaze to Weiwei Bai. This daughter of his was the one he loved the most. After all, it was her first child. Moreover, the empress was his true love. If he didn't truly love the empress, no matter how cowardly he was, how could he give all his power to her without any complaints? In addition, Weiwei Bai was young, and because of the palace maid's mistake, her face was burned. He felt even more guilty towards this daughter of his. He didn't want to suspect his daughter from the bottom of his heart about the death of the second prince. Chapter 2281. You can search time transmigration system. Prince Charming, come to Sashu. Come in Baidu to find the eldest prince saw the emperor's expression and felt resentment. Imperial father, sister never got along with second brother. The culprit disappeared in the princess's residence, and sister beat up the soldiers who came to investigate. He gritted his teeth and said angrily, so you can't be biased. Second brother can't die in peace. The emperor coughed and coughed up blood. Weiwei Bai took the chance to wipe the blood with a handkerchief. Her expression was cold, but her tone had a trace of grievance. I'm a girl who broke into the princess's residence in the middle of the night. Shouldn't I punish them? At this point, her eyes showed a trace of sadness. You still think your daughter is ugly. It doesn't matter if the soldiers treat you disrespectfully. Weiwei Bai's disfigurement was the emperor's sore point. The emperor's heart softened at this. Your sister is only a girl. She is soft-hearted and wouldn't do anything to your second brother. Someone must be framing her. The emperor closed his eyes. He said tiredly, I don't have many days to live. Be quiet before you die. These words were actually directed at the eldest prince. Weiwei Bai felt that the eldest prince's sinister gaze was enough to pierce her heart. But the emperor had nothing to say to the original owner. But the system said that the emperor would die in half a month. In the end, the emperor ordered the eldest prince to investigate the culprit. He also ordered that the culprit be caught within 10 days. The eldest prince said, I want to stab Weiwei Bai to death. Son is worthless, right? You can't afford to offend the imperial father who values girls over boys. Weiwei Bai safely left the palace, and the eldest prince had to take on the task of finding the culprit. This task wasn't easy to accept. After all, if the culprit was found without any evidence, even the eldest prince would be in trouble. When Weiwei Bai left the palace, there was already a carriage in front of the palace. The coachman was Liamo. He was dressed in black and had his hair tied up in a young man's bun. His eyes were clear and bright. He stared at her and suddenly revealed a cute smile. Your Highness, he called out in a low voice. His tone was tender, as if he cherished it very much. It looked like a sweet cake. Weiwei Bai stared blankly for a moment before a trace of bashfulness appeared in her eyes. But in the next moment, the worry in his eyes appeared again. When she got into the carriage, her skirts brushed against his back. Ali, this is a special time. You shouldn't be by my side. Her voice was so soft that only he could hear it. Liamo flicked his whip, and the horse galloped forward. The maidservants who followed the princess didn't even have time to get on the carriage. As the carriage approached the end of the road, the guards following the princess were left far behind. Weiwei Bai sat in the carriage with the curtains drawn. She looked at the young man's tall and sturdy back. Because he used a lot of strength, she could faintly see the outline of his muscles under his clothes. She felt a little helpless. Ali, don't be willful. His tone was still so doting and indulgent. Liamo's heart was stifled. He threw away the whip and the carriage continued to move. He had already thrown himself into the carriage and pulled off the girl's veil. Ignoring her cries of alarm, he hugged her tightly. He pressed her into the carriage. He was like a manic little beast, his eyes bright and sharp. In the darkness, his face was filled with tangled madness. How can you be so good to me? How could make him so uncomfortable? Weiwei Bai blinked innocently. Her eyes were sparkling, and her beautiful face had a smile. Being good to you makes me happy. Liamo saw the deep affection in her eyes, but his heart was heavy. He whispered, "What if I don't love you?" For the convenience of your next reading, You can click on the button below to record this reading record. Chapter 2282. You can search Transmigration System, Adonis, come to Sashu. Come, in Baidu, to find the S. One day he would be found out. He didn't love her. He lied to her. He even wanted to harm her. Wei Wei Bai stared at him blankly, tears welling up in her eyes. She immediately wiped her tears, her fingernails trembling. Ali, don't joke about this. I know you have me in your heart. Liu Mo had long been used to his heartless, ruthless, and selfish nature. But recently, Bai Weiwei had stirred him up day and night, making him extremely uncomfortable. She had turned into an inner demon, forcing him to his death. Liu Mo felt that he was shameless to the extreme. Shameless wasn't even enough to describe him. He lied to her about his sincerity, yet still hated her for making him suffer. Now, he was tormenting her because he felt bad. Seeing her unable to stop her tears, her pretty face was covered by the eyesore of tears. Limo's long and beautiful eyelashes drooped, pursing his lips and whispering, I lied to you. I also like you. Wei Wei Bai smiled. This smile was even a bit awkward, but was much better than crying. Limo's heart skipped a beat, feeling suffocated, because her happiness dissipated a lot. Only then did he realize he was hugging her. Limo suddenly let go of her, his ears red. I'll send you back. He was about to get out of the carriage when a soft body hugged him from behind. His skin started to heat up. Instead, it made her temperature a bit cold. Limo's originally ferocious and seductive features softened. It was like the melting of ice water. The girl behind him whispered, Let me hug you. Ali, don't come looking for me in the future. If you are found out, what will happen to me if they harm you? Liu Mo pursed his thin red lips, speechless. He also knew that although she was still of value to him, she was still useful. But the current situation was dangerous. His best strategy was, as she said, stay away from her, take the resources she gave, and fight for everything he wanted. But Liu Mo pursed his lips, sneering. Do you dislike me? The girl behind him didn't say anything. He felt wronged. You think that I'm a murderer because I killed someone, so you want to cut ties with me. There are many beautiful young men in your backyard. Are you tired of looking at me? Wei Wei Bai's fingers were a little pale as she hugged him. Liu Mo only felt her breath become heavier, and then he heard her faint sigh by his ear. Why would I dislike you? I love you so much. Her voice was soft, like pear candy at the end of autumn. Every word was sweet. I want to protect you, but I can't bear to part with you. Liu Mo lowered his head, feeling the warmth of her body. She was scalded by his burning skin. The light in his eyes had a kind of beautiful wolfish nature. Then I'll look for you again in the future. The girl stiffened and finally said helplessly, Then come at night. Don't let anyone see you. Liu Mo smiled and narrowed his eyes. Then he thought of something and said jealously, Those people in your backyard, tell them to get lost. If not for the fact that he knew that Wei Wei Bai had never touched him before, he would have been in a bad mood. He picked up his sword and wanted to chase them away himself. The girl behind him indulged him without limit. She whispered, Ali, I'll chase them away when I get back. Liu Mo could only feel his frustration vanish with every word she said. He softened. He was also overjoyed by her coaxing. // to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click Save to record this reading. Chapter 2283. You can search Transmigration System, Adonis, come to search book www.sashu.com to find the S. He hummed reservedly. Actually, it's boring to look at them. In this world, there's no one better looking than me. Wei Wei Bai, yes, she did. This little bastard cheated her of her feelings, cheated her of her power, and planned to cheat her of the title of the world's #1 beauty, courting death. Liu Mo seemed to have thought of something as he paused and muttered awkwardly, Actually, in my eyes, you're the most beautiful person in this world. Wei Wei Bai was silent for a moment before bursting into laughter. She buried her face in his firm back. Her laughter was exceptionally cute. Liu Mo also felt his heart blossom from her laughter. It was as if there was a foreign, unknown emotion that softened his heart. He couldn't help but curve his thin lips, revealing a cute smile. Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 60. He felt that this was good. He gained power and deceived her to be dead set on him. Even if she found out in the future that he had deceived her, she would definitely continue to love him. Liam had read a lot of scripts. Many women were dead set on their lovers, no matter how they mistreated them or deceived them. In the end, they all had happy endings. So Liam decided to continue to make Wei Wei by love him more. Love to the extreme. Even if he took everything away from her, she would not give up loving him. So Liam ignored Fong Qingyun's suggestion. After getting the box of connections, he immediately left Wei Wei by. Because of this kind of fluke mentality, Liam went to the princess's residence every few days. Although he still looked like a passionate wolf puppy, but the favorability didn't increase. Wei Wei calmly looked at Liam's smiling face in the bronze mirror. He lowered his head to comb her hair. Her black hair was like satin. When his fingertips brushed against her hair, it felt exceptionally beautiful, until he saw the mirror clearly. Wei Wei still had her eyes down, her face flushed. She sighed helplessly. Ali, I'll do it. Liam put down the comb and hugged her from behind. He rested his face on her shoulder. In the mirror, their faces were somewhat hazy, but it was so beautiful that it was like an irreplaceable scenery. The same kind of infatuation appeared in their eyes. Oh, I'm so good looking. Of course, when Liam reacted, the princess was even more attractive. Fortunately, her good looks were only for him to see. Liam finally calmed down. The two little lovebirds whispered sweet nothings to each other. She couldn't wait for the other party to love her to the point of death. The system held the chrysanthemum embroidery in its hands as it watched this pair of drama queens polluting their love. A girl who only wanted favorability. You are my one and only, la 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 la, the man who wanted power to deceive her. I like you the most, blah blah blah, the system said, bah. After being bored for half the night, the young man and woman finally parted reluctantly. However, his favorability was still at 60. Bai Weiwei watched Li Mo's departing figure. She propped up her chin with both hands. Her eyes were calm as she pondered. Only then did she say, without some twists and turns, the favorability won't increase. Li Mo's threshold for sweet nothings was too high. She talked until her mouth was dry and threw out all the young men in the backyard. But the favorability didn't increase at all. That little six clung to the door and refused to leave. She kicked them all away. In the end, it was all in vain. The system said, go on. More torment is good for your body and mind, so you won't get Alzheimer's. Seeing this pair of indifferent adulterous man and woman every day. // Chapter 2284. He couldn't even eat his snacks. Torturing her body and torturing her heart was better than these two shameless people chatting awkwardly. Bai Weiwei calmly stroked her chin and thought about it. Well, isn't the first prince still investigating who the murderer is? Let the crown prince know that Liam is the murderer. The system was shocked. You're not going to kill the male lead, are you? The crown prince wanted nothing more than to tear the murderer to pieces and feed them to the dogs. You were holding Liam's hand. You're my little sweetie. I can't live without you. He just left, and you're sending him to his death. You're still a host, but you're even more vicious. Wei Weibai said, it's fine. A beauty saves a coward. If Liam doesn't become a coward, how can I save him? System, you're trying to emphasize that you're a beauty. The struggle for power in the court was heating up. As for who killed the second prince, the eldest prince was even more anxious, because the emperor was clearly biased towards the eldest princess. This aroused the crown prince's hatred. The murderer's sword is very sharp, and his killing technique is brilliant. One fatal strike and his martial arts are very high. Only a few checks were made. After checking and checking, some characteristics were found, but there was no real progress. The crown prince was hopping mad every day, wishing he could find someone to replace him. But this case was being watched by tens of thousands of people. It was unrealistic to just find someone to replace him. Just as he was at his wit's end, a secret report was sent to the crown prince. The crown prince pinched the paper hard after reading it. Keep an eye on the eldest princess residence, especially at night. Liu held his face and stared blankly at a cactus flower. Fang Qingyun just got the news from the harem. The emperor's illness worsened, and he couldn't get out of bed. Every day, he was using secret medicine to keep his life. It was only a matter of time before he died. The harem was a secret, Bining's lowly concubine mother, for her own position. She had already become a spy for Liu, and Liu's people had already begun to deploy everything. After the death of the second prince, those who belonged to him were either exiled or killed. Almost all of them were scattered. He was waiting to destroy the first prince and then suppress the princess. When the emperor died, he supported the 3-year-old prince to the throne. There were no objections in the imperial court. What followed next was the battle between the eldest prince and the princess. If the culprit was not caught in the next few days, the first prince would suffer the wrath of the emperor. The fact that the princess was able to escape unscathed was surprising. At first, they thought that this matter would definitely implicate the princess. In the end, the first prince suffered the most. On the contrary, the princess remained calm. If this continued, all the princes with power would be defeated, but the princess would be fine. Once the emperor died, the princess's voice would definitely be the loudest in the imperial court. It would not be their turn to rise to the top. Fang Qingyun felt that she should make a move on the princess, but she did not know what to do with the current situation. The princess was devoted to Liu. He felt a little embarrassed to lay his hands on her. What to do? Counselor Fang thought that Liu was in a daze, wondering whether to deal with the princess or not. He patted Liu's shoulder and sighed. I know your pain. If you still can't do it in the end, then we will support the princess and let the princess choose the prince. Liu came back to his senses and rubbed his face. Last night, I combed the princess's hair. Chapter 2285. Fang Qingyun felt sad. Combing one's hair was something only a married couple would do. Did Liu and the princess already secretly promise to be together for life? Liu touched his face, frowning and muttering. I took the chance to compare myself with her in the mirror. Sure enough, she is prettier than me. Also, there is a small red mark on her face, making her look more beautiful and delicate. Counselor Fang silently pushed him away, wishing he could pick up the sword on the table. He wanted to kill this unreliable lord with one strike. He was always thinking about how to support the emperor and let him be the regent. He was also sad that Liu was going to betray the princess. In the end, this bastard was actually sad that he wasn't as pretty as the princess. Fang Qingyun really went to touch the sword, but that sword was heavy. Liu's sword was specially made, 10 times heavier than a normal sword. It couldn't be seen from the outside, but when it came to killing people, it was as clean as cutting vegetables. Thinking of Liu's clean cut, Fang Qingyun silently gave up. After Liu sighed, he jumped up and said, I'm going on a date with Wei. Today I bought 2 dumplings to eat with Wei. 3 copper coins for 1 dumpling. Because of the special buy 1, get 1 free price. So there were just 2. Fang Qingyun was speechless. He hurriedly stopped him. You can't go on like this with the princess. The prince the princess supports is definitely not the little prince. When the time comes, you will definitely clash. Liu's footsteps paused. He pursed his lips unnaturally, a thin string hooked on his finger. 2 sweet dumplings were hanging on the string. His finger shook, and the dumpling shook with it. I know. His tone was low, his eyes dim. I decided to sacrifice myself tonight. After sacrificing myself, the princess will definitely be easy to talk to. Counselor Fang, who can explain what sacrificing oneself means? Is it what he thinks it means? As Liu spoke, he suddenly thought of Wei Wei by lying on the bed, her beautiful long hair falling on her thin back. Her charming eyes were like silk, her voice soft. Immediately, Liu secretly swallowed, his eyes turning from dim to abnormally spirited. He licked his lips, and the corners of his mouth couldn't help but reveal a smile like a cat that had stolen a fish. She's a woman. I'm too embarrassed to say that she covets me. After that, she'll definitely be obedient to me. When the time comes, I'll test her and ask her to support the little prince with me. Actually, it wasn't a question of who the princess supported. Instead, it was the princess who was powerful. If he didn't kill the princess, in that case, Li Mo would have to see who would sit on the throne in the end. Their plan from the beginning was to seize the princess's power, instead of letting the princess replace Li Mo to support the little prince. Fang Xingyun felt that Li Mo had gone off track. Right now, the most important thing for him was to go on a date with the princess and compete with her in terms of beauty. Li Mo carried the dumplings and ran away happily. He didn't care about how gloomy his advisor was. Fang Qingyun stood in place, feeling that her master seemed to be quite happy. In the end, he bitterly went back to work at his desk. Forget it, as long as my lord is happy. He was just here to earn a living, so there was no need for him to worry so much. Li Mo gently pushed open the window. He saw Wei Wei by spreading out a piece of paper and writing something. Li Mo sneaked behind her, intending to give her a surprise. But when he glanced around, he saw a complicated web of relationships under her pen, and the one in the middle was actually the third prince. The emperor had 8 children. Chapter 2286. The only princess, Wei Wei Bai, the daughter of 3 concubines. Of the 4 remaining princes, the youngest was the 3-year-old Bai Ning. The third prince was the least likely to fight for the throne because his legs were disabled, and he was a cripple. Li Mo frowned, puzzled. Wei Wei Bai sensed something and turned around to see Li Mo. She smiled. "You're here, Ali." She was like a shy girl, never showing the majesty of a princess royal in front of him. Li Mo couldn't help but smile. When his eyes softened, the wildness in them grew stronger. He casually asked, "Did the third prince offend Ah Wei?" Wei Wei Bai pursed her lips and shook her head. "Third brother and I recently decided to work together. Imperial father's health is failing, and the eldest prince is unreliable." Li Mo's eyes turned cold at this. Third brother, eldest prince. The difference in terms of address was hard to ignore, but he still put on a beautiful mask. "Isn't the third prince disabled?" Wei Wei Bai put down her pen and said casually, "He's faking it. After all, his other 2 brothers are powerful, and he's afraid of being framed, so he pretended to be disabled. Faking it for 10 years. His mind was exceptionally deep. Li Mo's eyes were deep, and he was still smiling. "Ah Wei, have you ever thought of supporting the 4th prince?" Wei Wei Bai raised an eyebrow in surprise, then smiled. "Ali, you don't understand. That child is too young, and I don't have the ambition of my mother. It's not worth supporting him." After she finished speaking, she frowned. "Moreover, his mother once poisoned my mother, causing her to lose her vitality after giving birth to me. Because there was no evidence, I could only let her off for now." When Bai Weiwei said this, her tone was already a bit cold, but she thought of something and her expression turned gentle. "Forget it. Let's not talk about this. After the third prince takes the throne, there will be a place for Ali." She came back to her senses and smiled sweetly. "Commander, do you want to go one step further? When the time comes, I'll ask third brother to give you a few more positions so that no one will look down on you." These words were both doting and disrespectful. Li Mo's heart sank. Even if she didn't do it on purpose, there was still a natural sense of pride in her spoiling him. Wei Wei Bai didn't seem to notice his inferiority complex. Her fingers gently caressed his face, her fingertips sliding across his lips. "Ali is so pretty. Sometimes I want to hide you, but I'm worried that you'll be unhappy." Li Mo stared at her in a daze. A beautiful light finally appeared in his deep eyes. He lowered his thick eyelashes. "Princesses are pretty too. I want to hide you too." Feelings that begin with deceit. He had let go of some of his sincerity, but he was still hurt by her disrespectful attitude. His heart throbbed with pain. He was so spoiled by her that he forgot that her power was still greater than his. That was why she could casually say that she wanted to deprive him of everything and make him her captive. He should be the one saying this to her. He was even a little hesitant about whether he should discuss with her about supporting the little prince and controlling the court. After all, He was the one who supported her to hold court behind the curtain, and he was still the most doted-on courtier in front of her. He had thought about it before. He was willing to be above everyone and below only one person. That person was her. But Wei Wei Bai's casual attitude made him sober up. He saw the gap between them. Everything he had was because of her power and protection. Chapter 2287. She loved him. If one day she had a change of heart, she could send him away with one word. Liemo thought far ahead, thinking of what little vixen would steal her from him. He found it unbearable. Sure enough, power could only be held in her hands. Only then could he be at ease. The box she gave him could only be used after something happened to her, because the power in the box was loyal to her. But if something happened to her, he could take over. Once he took over, he would do whatever it took to dissolve her power, digesting it into his own. This was his original goal. During this time, he had been coaxed by her gentleness. He couldn't bear to let her love for him disappear. Wei Wei Bai thought he was joking and didn't take it seriously, only glancing at his hand. She teased, "Ali, do you still give me gifts?" Liemo blushed, looking down and hesitating. Then he took out the dumplings. The small round dumplings were very cute. Liemo bought it because of its good looks. Wei Wei Bai was delighted to see it. So cute. Liemo coughed. Not as cute as you. Wei Wei Bai lightly punched his chest. Not as cute as you. After the two flattered each other, they looked deeply into each other's eyes. They felt like they were close friends. System, blarg. This pair of old vixens. I've had enough. The two kissed and kissed for a while before eating the dumplings. Liemo then drew Wei Wei Bai's eyebrows. Her delicate willowy eyebrows made her look even more delicate. He looked at her with deep eyes, thinking she was beautiful everywhere. When he put down the eyebrow pencil, he sat on the dressing table and held her neck, saying hoarsely, "Ah Wei." His lips were about to fall. Suddenly, a timid call came from outside the door. "Your Highness, may I come in?" The youth's voice was soft and pleasant, full of affection. Liemo paused, a trace of hostility flashing in his eyes. It was the middle of the night, and the one outside was obviously the gigolo in her backyard. Didn't she chase them all out? How could there be more? Furthermore, he dared to knock on the door at this time of night. Did he come from a recommendation? Wei Wei Bai's eyelashes fluttered as she realized that she and Liemo were in an ambiguous position. She was a little flustered and immediately pushed him away. Then, she stood up and looked outside. She coldly said, "Little Six, didn't I tell you to scram out of the Princess Manor?" Little Six stood outside the door and said timidly, I admire the princess, and I'm already the princess's man. Even if I die, I'll be yours." Hearing this, Liemo couldn't help but grin, revealing his white teeth. Wei Wei Bai's voice was cold. "I don't need you. I have no interest in you. Leave this place." Little Six's voice was choked with sobs. "Your Highness, don't drive me away. I can still work even if I eat less. I made some ginseng soup. Can you drink some?" Wei Wei Bai's expression softened. She calmly said, "You can drink the ginseng soup yourself. I'm tired. You can leave." Little Six was touched. "Princess, are you worried that I will sleep late?" "Princess, you also need to rest early. I specially made the ginseng soup for you. How can I drink it?" With that, Little Six placed the soup at the door. "Your Highness, I've put the soup away. If you don't want to drink it, you can just throw it away." With that, Little Six left with sadness and satisfaction. Wei Wei Bai awkwardly turned around. I tried to drive him away, but he wouldn't leave. Liemo coldly smiled, his eyes cold. "Oh, your Highness is so kind. If you can't drive him away, then don't drive him away. How about I kill him for you?" Chapter 2288. Wei Wei Bai smiled helplessly. "You're too jealous. He saved me when there was an assassination attempt. How can you repay kindness with enmity?" Liemo crossed his arms and looked away, saying sarcastically, "Then you're going to abandon me?" Wei Wei Bai walked over and hugged him, comforting him. "How can I abandon you, my little Li?" But he sighed. Liemo heard her sigh. "I'm ugly, but he didn't dislike me when he saw my face. He even said I was beautiful. Limo's body stiffened, his tongue dry. Wei Wei Bai smiled gently and continued. It's rare for someone to say I'm beautiful. I'm also vain, so I didn't chase him away. Limo's eyelashes drooped, his eyes trembling. He pursed his lips, wanting to say something. He was originally good at lying, but now he was stuttering. He glanced at Wei Wei Bai and breathed heavily, lowering his voice. They all love your power. They're not sincerely praising you. Then he froze. It was so childish. One lie followed by another. He wondered if his brain was eaten by a dog. Wei Wei Bai saw him like this and smiled helplessly. She reached out and tucked her hair behind her ear. Her posture was elegant and beautiful. I know, Li. You don't have to worry about me being taken advantage of. Li Mo watched as her fair fingers stroked her ink-black hair. Her eyes twinkled, and a smile appeared on her lips. His heart beat suddenly. He held the edge of the table and whispered with his head down, I'm also afraid that with so many people in your backyard, you'll get tired of me after a while. These words were a bit weak, but there was also a trace of imperceptible darkness. Wei Wei Bai smiled softly and walked in front of him, placing her hand gently on the back of his hand. He removed his fingers from the wooden platform one by one. Then she exhaled softly on his fingertips. Don't be like this, my heart hurts. His words were so plain that it made people's hearts tremble. The crispness in Li Mo's eyes was replaced by a deeper emotion. He looked at the girl who felt sorry for him. There was a long silence. Ding, the male lead's favorability is at 65. The sudden increase in favorability caused Wei Wei Bai's smile to deepen. Many a little makes a mickle. Finally, this narcissistic little wolf cub's favorability towards him increased. Someone with Li Mo's temperament was absolutely terrifying. Wei Wei Bai felt that it was really hard for her. She always thought that her previous target was abnormal enough. In the end, the next pervert would completely change her imagination. Furthermore, the difficulty of the strategy had never decreased. If it did, he would have to worry about what kind of trap the system would set up, waiting for her to jump. When Li Mo left, Wei Wei Bai leaned against the window and stared at him. He turned around and saw the girl's deep and affectionate eyes under the moonlight. He almost stepped on the wrong spot and fell to the ground. When he jumped out of the window, he thought of something and went to her door. He picked up Xiao Lu's soup and watered the flowers with the soup before feeling satisfied. After Li Mo left, the group of spies guarding the entrance finally saw the young man under the moonlight. Li Mo's information immediately appeared on the eldest prince's table. Because the princess's residence was full of good-looking youths coming and going, the princess's reputation for licentiousness went up another level. This was also what the other princes were happy to see. For a long time, no one paid attention to the youths around the princess and who they were. Chapter 2289. Unless he was a spy, Li Mo was no different from those teenagers. The only difference was that he had an official position, and a rather high one at that. Among the military officials, this was the highest position. But Li Mo was very low-key, taking his position and doing his own work. He never participated in anything. The only thing he was famous for was his face. Delicate, wild, and handsome. If he wasn't so low-key, he could have made a name for himself with his looks. He could become a girl's dream lover or something. When the crown prince saw the letter accusing Li Mo of being a murderer, he was skeptical, but still sent someone to guard the princess residence. He found that Li Mo was meeting with the princess in the middle of the night. Li Mo's martial arts were high, and he definitely had the ability to kill the second prince. At the crucial moment, he hid in the princess residence. That night, the eldest princess refused to search the residence. Li Mo meeting with the princess. A series of clues were connected. The crown prince's eyes were malicious. Was it really Li Mo? And the mastermind was the eldest princess? Why was the empress a nightmare for all the princes when she was alive? The eldest princess's position was unshakable. They were princes, but when they saw their eldest sister, they still had to bow. The crown prince hated the fact that he was born first and should have been the crown prince. But because of the Empress's simple words, the Emperor agreed not to make him the Crown Prince, because the Crown Prince's existence would make the princess uncomfortable. This palace existed for Wei Wei Bai. Now that the Empress was dead, Wei Wei Bai still wanted to kill them. To be the Empress? The Crown Prince's eyes turned red at this thought. He hated her to the core. Capture Li Mo and bring him here for torture. Even if Li Mo wasn't the murderer, he was Wei Wei Bai's new favorite and must know something. In this battle for the throne, it was either you die or I live. Since Wei Wei Bai dared to block the road, he wouldn't be polite. Li Mo returned from the princess residence. When he was changing, he suddenly felt that he had let go of too many feelings for her. As if he was addicted, he was mesmerized by her tenderness and love. Li Mo calmly thought for a long time, but still couldn't suppress his urge to get close to Wei Wei Bai. After changing his clothes, he came out. A rooster crowed. This was the time when Fong Qingyun woke up. He came out to wash his face. He saw Li Mo brandishing his sword with a murderous aura. Who provoked this old man again? She was unhappy, and fierce all the time. She didn't know how he made the eldest princess so devoted to him. Could it be that he really relied on his face? Fong Qingyun shuddered at the thought of this. She felt that she was about to be brainwashed by Li Mo's beauty. After Li Mo finished chopping the plants in the yard, he finally stabbed his sword into the ground. Then, he squatted by the sword and looked up at the sky at a 45-degree angle. The angle at which the handsome young man was looking up at just happened to show his own appearance. Counselor Fong secretly planned to leave. But before he could even take half a step forward, Li Mo said coldly, "Wei wants to support the third prince." Advisor Fong was stunned, but said, "He's not a cripple." Li Mo sneered, "It's fake." Counselor Fong frowned. "He's so gloomy. How can he be so good at pretending?" Li Mo was tired of squatting and sat on the ground. He smiled and said, "Do you remember when I said that I lived at home when I was young?" Fong Qingyun was silent for a moment before nodding. "Yes, I know." Chapter 2290. Li Mo sneered, "At that time, my family was just a small farmer. The palace suddenly sent a decree that the third prince fell off his horse and was in imminent danger." Fong Qingyun had a quick mind and a photographic memory. Thinking about it, he finally remembered that the third prince was crippled at that time, and the palace did send a decree. The decree was for everyone to pray for the third prince. This decree was a bit of a big deal, but because he was a prince, no one said anything. And it wasn't too much. Li Mo's eyes were gloomy. "Do you know how my village prayed for blessings?" Fong Qingyun shook his head. He knew Li Mo didn't have a good childhood and heard some small things from him. He also found it unbearable and absurd. But he didn't know what he went through. Li Mo's eyes were gloomy. Its substitute praying. The ancestral hall of the village used this ancient method of praying for blessings to curry favor with the local officials. Fong Qingyun asked substitute. Li Mo turned to look at him, his eyes dark and gloomy. He smiled. It was very creepy. Substitute is to make a child kneel in the ancestral hall every day and be whipped 50 times without receiving treatment. Fong Qingyun frowned. Li Mo reached out and started to pull the grass. This praying is said to share the third prince's burden. If other children suffer, the gods will let the third prince go. Fong Qingyun asked, "You were one of them?" Li Mo sneered, "Of course. Because there was no treatment, many children died, and then it was my turn." Day after day, he was whipped in despair. Every day, he was a bloody mess, kneeling in the ancestral hall. He couldn't rest, couldn't receive treatment. If he fell, he would be dragged down because he was unlucky. If he didn't die the next day, he would continue to be tortured. This was the substitute praying for blessings, using the child's life to pray for a completely useless blessing. It was just to curry favor with the higher-ups and get benefits. In the end, they really did get benefits. Li Mo was the child who persevered to the end and didn't die, so his family was rewarded. From being a landlord, he had become a small official. Li Mo's voice was low and sinister. At that time, if the palace had even the slightest bit of sympathy, They would not have allowed praying for blessings to kill so many people. The palace knew about their blessing ceremony. He was actually encouraging him and saying good. This made things worse in the village. To obtain rewards, everyone became terrifying demons. Liemo looked at Fong Qingyun with a cold smile. When I found out that the third prince was still crippled when he woke up, I was really happy. Because of that evil prince who had killed so many people. He was still crippled. This was retribution. Liemo stood up and pulled out his sword, but it was all an act. I almost died while praying for blessings. I worked so hard to climb to such a high position just to kill him. The human heart is cold, killing innocent people for profit. In this world, he had already seen clearly that if he didn't want to become fish meat, then he could only be at the top. His starting point was too low. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't overturn everything and sit on the throne. But he had the power to be above everyone. Liemo lowered his eyes and whispered, I like the princess very much, but power is my only goal. He didn't want to be alone and bear the evil of this world. He didn't want to suddenly become fish meat one day. Chapter 2291. You can search Transmigration System, Adonis come to Sashu. Come in Baidu to find the S. He was whipped by others and used by others. Wei Wei Bai gave him a lot of love, a lot. But would she love him like this for the rest of his life? What if her life was in danger, or she gave up everything to love him? Limeau's eyelashes trembled as he smiled. He gripped the sword in his hand. Who knows? It was better to hold on to power and then hold on to her. Fong Qingyun didn't try to persuade him. It was fine as long as Liemo didn't regret it. Besides, the Princess Royal supported the third prince to start a conflict with Liemo. They were about to return to the room. Suddenly, the door was smashed open and a group of Imperial guards rushed in. Sinner Liemo, having an affair with the princess and murdering the prince. Here is the arrest warrant. As soon as he finished, the Imperial guards rushed over, took Limeau's sword, and hung it on him. Fong Qingyun was about to stop them. Liemo stopped her with an indifferent and calm look. Fong Qingyun immediately understood. He was scheming outside to save Liemo, and not fallen together. So Fong Qingyun pretended to be scared, immediately cowering in front of the Imperial guards and bowing. A cowardly look. The Imperial guards didn't want to complicate matters and immediately left after arresting her. Fong Qingyun looked up and straightened her sleeves. Then she turned to the guard in the dark and said, Call all the advisors. Something happened to the Lord. Liemo had a bunch of advisors. Fong Qingyun was the head of the advisors. They usually did their own thing. They only gathered at the crucial moment. Wei Wei Bai was eating a sesame seed cake with the system, watching Najah make a scene. They were discussing the anime's plot with relish. Then the system suddenly said, The male lead has been caught, hung up, and tortured. His clothes have been taken off. Why did it emphasize that his clothes were taken off? Wei Wei Bai almost choked on her sesame seed cake. She jumped up. Go save him now. Another wave of affection. She had read most of Limeau's information. She probably knew that Liemo had suffered as a child, so he was very greedy for power. Limeau's favorability toward her didn't increase at all with her sweet talk. It was because Liemo didn't believe what was said. He only believed what he saw. Wei Wei Bai could only create an opportunity to inform the crown prince that Liemo was the murderer. She wanted the first prince to capture him, and then her savior would appear and risk everything to save him. Only then would Liemo believe her feelings. Once he believed it, his favorability towards him would increase rapidly. Wei Wei Bai calmly planned to increase Li's favorability. Then he sighed. Power is still the best. Look at how powerful I am. I can save a beauty just because I want to. Life in this plane is so good. Words from the bottom of his heart. Look at Liemo. He didn't like her at first, but still tried to seduce her. It was all thanks to power and influence. Are you tired of beauty and now you like power? She thought of Liemo, the one who licked his own face with a mirror. When he stopped licking his own face, he became greedy for power and profit every day. He suddenly felt that it was natural for her favorability to rise quickly. These two fellows were simply a match made in heaven, shameless and black-hearted. Mutual sympathy, the favorability would definitely increase. Liam was hung up by everyone. His shirt was ripped open and stained with blood. Whips kept falling on his body. The first prince asked sinisterly, "My second brother was killed by you. You colluded with the eldest princess and plotted against him." Liam endured the pain and didn't speak. Being hung up and beaten by the first prince was indeed an accident. Usually when he killed someone, he hid it well. Except when he went to the eldest princess' residence and stayed for too long, and the eldest princess knew he was the murderer. It was impossible for anyone to think it was him. Could it be? Away. / to make it easier for you to read it next time. You can click save below to record this reading. Comma. Chapter 2292. Once this thought appeared, his heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. There was a piercing pain in his heart. Liam's mouth tasted of blood as he grinned. Was she tired of playing with him? Or was she forced into a corner by the crown prince and wanted to sacrifice him? All sorts of schemes flashed through Liam's mind, but he couldn't help thinking. Perhaps there was a flaw somewhere else? As he pondered, the whip landed on his body. The pain made him muddle-headed. He recalled how she was still looking at him from the window when he left last night. She loved him. He knew that even a blind person could see the kind of love and pampering. But wasn't there still that little six? The one who drove everyone away was that little bitch. It was impossible for him to be wholeheartedly devoted to her. When Liam was whispering sweet nothings to Wei Wei Bai, he also said that she was his one and only. But he didn't believe it. Human nature was selfish. She could sacrifice for him for a while, but not for a lifetime. Liam clenched his teeth, all sorts of schemes going through his mind. In the end, he clenched his teeth and didn't speak. The crown prince only suspected that if he made a promise, he would die here. The crown prince saw his stubbornness and didn't say a word. He gave a cold laugh. Good. Even a dog by the eldest princess' side is so stubborn. You're willing to risk your life for her. So how could she give you the same feelings? Keep dreaming, you lowly trash, a third-rate boy toy. Liam had been motionless until he heard this. He finally looked up, his eyes filled with blood. Incomparably ferocious. The crown prince wanted to provoke him, make him hate Wei Wei Bai. Only then could he implicate Wei Wei Bai. There had to be a murderer for the second prince's death. Wei Wei Bai was the best. Otherwise, when he became emperor in the future, he would have a rival like Wei Wei Bai. Just thinking about it made him angry. Who do you think you are? She just wants you to help her kill someone. Could she really love you forever? What is your status? You're dirty and trash, just trash to be used. No, she liked him. She loved him dearly. Knowing that he had killed the second prince, he immediately asked him to flee. She never used him. Liam clenched his teeth and bit his lip. Blood dripped to the ground. The ground was stained with his blood. The eldest princess status is so noble, and her actions are even more absurd. Even if she has an affair with you, it's just a pastime. The first prince scolded coldly. He wanted to suppress Liam's feelings. He thought that Liam was so loyal to the eldest princess because he liked her. Although he didn't know what was so good about his ugly elder sister, he didn't know why he liked her. But to make Liam give up, Liam might hate Wei Wei Bai to death. Even if it wasn't Wei Wei Bai who killed him, Liam wouldn't let her go. When the time came, he would definitely be happy to see them fighting each other. The eldest prince continued to scold. Who doesn't know what the eldest princess is like? She can spoil someone to the heavens, but once she doesn't like you, you're just a dirty bug. She won't even look at you. As he cursed, he ordered his men to beat Liam. You're such a lowly person, yet you still think that she'll love you forever. She's just looking for something new. Each sentence hit Liam's heart. He knew that this was the first prince's psychological attack, but it revealed Liam's dark uneasiness. Liam knew that Wei Wei Bai liked him and gave him a lot, but he was always careful, not daring to think too deeply, because he felt that he wasn't worthy. This feeling of inferiority came from the bottom of his heart. He didn't do anything. Just based on his face, she liked him that much? / to make it easier for you to read next time, you can click save below to record this reading. Next time you open the bookshelf, you'll see it, if you like. Chapter 2293. If not for his face, then he hadn't done anything that could make Bai Weiwei fall deeply in love with him. Then why did she like him so much? This suspicion made him irritable and irritable. But when she wanted to see him, he still happily ran to meet her in private. What if it was just something new? Limo's eyes were filled with hostility. He lowered his head, not saying a word. After the crown prince scolded him, he added, "If she really liked you, she would have saved you long ago." Limo stiffened, pursing his lips. He slowly looked up. Under his messy hair, his eyes were like a wolf's as he stared at the crown prince viciously. The crown prince felt a chill run down his spine and slapped the table. "Someone come, beat him to death. I don't care if he dies." The whip lashed at him. Limo groaned. He could endure the pain. But the crown prince's words were unbearable. He almost wanted to disregard the plan and break the chains to kill the crown prince. Fang Qingyun should be ready. There should also be impeachment reports in the court to wash away the suspicion of killing the enemy. The first prince tortured innocent people and even framed the eldest princess. He always had a backup plan. He wouldn't completely cut off his escape route and really let Bai Weiwei come save him. Limo thought coldly. She didn't save me this time, did she? So he would take her power in the future. That was the right choice. But Limo's expression turned aggrieved. "Where's little Ali? I'm about to be tortured to death, and she doesn't come to see me." Sure enough, there's a newcomer. The crown prince stared at Limo, refusing to open his mouth, even if he was beaten to death. He was angry and suddenly picked up the soldering iron, about to brand Limo's chest. The soldering iron had yet to reach Limo's chest. Limo suddenly curled his lips and looked at the crown prince sinisterly. People of the imperial family were always so cruel and heartless. Compared to them, his ruthlessness was not even 1 in 100,000. When the first prince saw the look in his eyes, the soldering iron in his hand trembled, and he almost burned himself. He roared angrily, "Lowly person, you actually dared to look directly at a prince. You deserve to die." As soon as he finished speaking, suddenly a cold and clear shout rang out. This consort didn't know that imperial younger brother could be so righteous when torturing innocent people like this. These words caused Limo to look up blankly. At the entrance of a dark cell, a slender and noble figure appeared. Limo stared at her as if he was looking at an unbelievable scene. However, he saw her faintly raise her eyes to look at him. A trace of fluctuation flashed through her eyes, but it was concealed again. The crown prince was shocked. Imperial sister. Weiwei Bai walked over and slapped him. This is simply preposterous. Capturing an innocent person and forcing them to confess under torture. Tomorrow, this consort will immediately enter the palace and report you. After being slapped in the face, the first prince stared blankly for a moment before exploding with rage. He is the murderer. You rushed here to save him because you have a guilty conscience. Second brother's death was ordered by you. Weiwei Bai ignored him and ordered the people following her to untie Limo's chains. Limo's eyes hidden behind his black hair stared motionlessly at Weiwei Bai. Her back was to him, blocking the light. But she protected him. Limo stared blankly at her back. He felt the pain in his chest melt away because of her arrival. Weiwei Bai raised an eyebrow. It seems that Imperial younger brother is the one with a guilty conscience. If you don't give this consort an explanation when we enter the palace tomorrow, this matter will not be over. // to facilitate your next reading. You can click Save at the bottom to record this reading. Chapter 2294. The girl was thin, but she was stronger than anyone else. She was cold and noble, her tone neither fast nor slow. Limo was held up and couldn't stand. Blood flowed to the ground in front of him as he moved. Weiwei Bai's white dress was dyed red by his blood. It was beautiful yet mournful. Limo looked down, his heart beating fast. The crown prince was still questioning. "What's your relationship with him?" Is it worth it for you to come all the way to my prison to get him out? Wei Wei Bai was silent, then finally opened her mouth. What relationship? He's mine. With that, she waved her sleeve. If you dare to stop me again, I'll kill you. After saying that, Wei Wei Bai felt moved. Look at this domineering aura. It made people feel proud. Wei Wei Bai asked, Is Li Mo looking at me with admiration? Am I very handsome? The system turned to look at Li Mo's gloomy eyes, his ghastly face, his body covered in blood. He looked like an evil spirit that crawled out of hell. There was no admiration, but his eyes looked like he wanted to eat the host. The system said, if you say so. Wei Wei Bai sighed. That's why when a beauty saves a cowardly bear, the cowardly bear will be grateful. The crown prince was afraid of Wei Wei Bai's power and the emperor's protection. Wei Wei Bai waved her hand and took Li Mo away. Li Mo's eyes never left her from start to finish. Bai Wei Wei finished snatching people and brought Li Mo back to the Princess Fu. Li Mo's face was pale as blood flowed all over his body. The imperial physician hurriedly rushed over and changed countless bandages for him before he finally stopped the bleeding. People came and went. Bai Wei Wei sat on the edge of the bed, holding his fingers in a death grip. When the wound was treated, it was already late at night. Wei Wei Bai personally used a wet handkerchief to wipe his forehead. He had a high fever. She barely spoke, but her eyes were filled with grief. Li Mo stared at her blankly. Suddenly, he said, If you save me like this, you'll be implicated. Wei Wei Bai barged in and took him away without a care. The first prince would definitely retaliate. Tomorrow, when they enter the palace, Wei Wei Bai would not be able to gain anything. Wei Wei Bai had already dismissed the servants. She slowly took off her veil. Under the flickering candlelight, the girl's stunning face appeared. Her face was full of frost. Implicate? I'm just afraid that I can't save you. What's there to be afraid of? Just as she finished speaking, the girl's frosty expression suddenly crumbled. She pursed her lips and clenched her jaw. Finally, a sob escaped from the depths of her throat. Does it hurt? Tears welled up in her eyes. Her previous strength seemed to be an act, and this extremely fragile girl was her true form. Li Mo's eyes twitched, and he suddenly felt his eyes sting. It hurts. Afraid that she wouldn't believe him, he suddenly started crying as well. Oh, Wei, it hurts so much. Bai Wei Wei held his hand and leaned her face against the back of his hand. It's all my fault. I wanted to protect you, but I pushed you into such a dangerous situation. Her tears fell onto the back of his hand. Li Mo's breath caught, and he felt even more wronged. This feeling of being loved to the bone. It was too sweet, too good. His face was bright red because of his high fever. His eyes were moist, filled with innocence and grievance. His voice was weak. Oh, Wei, they hurt me. Wei Wei Bai paused, her lips trembling. Finally, she sighed. It won't happen again. I won't let anyone hurt you. https://www.sashu.com/full text. https://www.sashu.com download text. https://www.sashu.com// to make it easier for you to read it next time. You can click save below to record this reading. Chapter 2295. Li Mo looked at him with wide eyes. Really? Wei Wei Bai nodded seriously. Really? Li Mo looked at the girl under the light with a serious expression. It was as if this promise was more important than anything else. Li Mo moved his lips, trying to act coquettishly, but he couldn't say any sweet nothings. She was really here to save him. This thought almost destroyed the firm and cold defense in his heart. He lowered his eyes, moved her hand to his lips, and gently planted a kiss. Ding! The male lead's favorability is at 70. Wei Wei Bai saw Li Mo fall asleep peacefully. She then said to the system, I finally pried open this little minx's heart. He said sweet nothings to her every day, causing her favorability to rise like a difficult labor. Now that she was here to save him, she finally saw some sincerity in this little minx's eyes. The system said, He still has 30 favorability. Do you want to save him a few more times? Wei Wei Bai waved her hand. That's not new. Next, of course, I want the little beauty and not the country. She wanted Li Mo to see that she wanted to work with the third prince. She also told him that she couldn't get along with the fourth prince. It wasn't as if she and the system didn't know Li Mo was secretly supporting the fourth prince. So when the time comes, I will hug him heartbreakingly and say that for him, I will give up my power and support the fourth prince with him. Bai Weiwei said, beaming with joy. It would be strange if Li Mo wasn't moved. I gave up supporting the third prince for him. Torture, torture. System, Weiwei Bai said. With this torture, the atmosphere of the country and beauty will come. Li Mo will know how much I've sacrificed. I guarantee that his favorability will rise immediately. System, the earth could no longer stop this little minx's host from going crazy. Weiwei Bai held her forehead. Sigh. That little minx Li Mo is really a troublemaker. I've spoiled him so much and he's still not satisfied. System, Weiwei Bai said. All right, I almost forgot. Send the key evidence of Li Mo being the murderer to the crown prince. What are you doing? Weiwei Bai said. This way, Li Mo is the murderer. The whole world wants to harm him, but I'm the only one protecting him. The system gave Li Mo a sympathetic look. The host has already graduated from a strategy. This move is insidious and vicious. Li Mo was such a vicious person, but in front of the host, he seemed so pure and innocent. Weiwei Bai planned as she rested her face on her hand and closed her eyes to take a nap. Li Mo, on the other hand, was in a daze from the fever, but he would still wake up. Then, he saw Weiwei Bai guarding him. She closed her eyes and fell asleep tiredly. However, she still refused to leave him. Li Mo's eyes were filled with satisfaction. Finally, he reached out and tugged at her sleeve. If only she could love him like this for the rest of her life. With this thought in mind, Li Mo actually felt that the taste of power was not as good as this. He stared at her for a long time before finally falling asleep. The next day, when Li Mo woke up, he heard Weiwei Bai's cold voice. Serve me well and strengthen the guards. Without my token, no one is allowed to enter. He looked over. He saw that Bai Weiwei was being served by someone to get dressed. The princess' dress was gorgeous. Even if her body was thin, her cold aura made people tremble. Li Mo saw her turn around and immediately closed his eyes. But he heard the rustling of clothes. Then a soft kiss fell on his cheek. She whispered softly, the fever is gone. Chapter 2296. Li Mo's face reddened at her words. Fortunately, Weiwei Bai was in a hurry to enter the palace and didn't notice anything wrong with him. Only after Weiwei Bai left did he struggle to get up. His eyes were cold and calm as he pondered. How should he continue on this path of seizing power? At this point, all of his power and influence was on the fourth prince. He couldn't stop. If Weiwei Bai found out that the person he supported was the fourth prince she didn't like, would she hate him? Li Mo shuddered. In the past, when he thought of this question, he could think of it coldly. If she wasn't convinced, he would lock her up. But today, when he thought of it, he felt terrible. It was much more unbearable than ever before. Li Mo couldn't help but curl up, but it tore his wound, causing him to grit his teeth in pain. Almost instinctively, he turned around and acted like a spoiled child. Only then did he realize that Weiwei Bai had entered the palace. He stared at the door for a while, then turned around and puffed up his face, silently enduring the pain. After enduring for a while, he fell asleep. But when he woke up, he found that Weiwei Bai wasn't back yet. Li Mo looked at the candlelight outside. She had been gone for an entire day. He was in a daze for a while. Then his eyes gradually became clear. His heart was also a little more flustered. Did something happen to Weiwei Bai? He immediately got up, ignoring his wound, wanted to get off the bed. But there was a commotion outside the door. Weiwei Bai was back. She entered with a cold and flustered expression. Ali, leave this place immediately. I will have someone send you out of the city. Li Mo's eyes narrowed, his voice sinking. What's wrong? Weiwei Bai bit her lip, her voice trembling. Did you leave something behind when you killed them? Liamo, what did he leave behind? How could that be? He wouldn't leave behind anything that represented his identity. Wei Wei Bai took a deep breath and then said slowly, "Today, when I entered the palace to confront the great prince, the investigating official beside him took out the official badge you left at the scene." Limo's official position had a token that represented his identity. However, he would be an idiot to stuff this token into his pocket to kill someone. Limo said coldly, "Impossible." Wei Wei Bai said, "I know it's impossible. It's a framing, but Imperial Father is tired of our scheming, and you will become the scapegoat." Liamo finally understood why Wei Wei Bai was so scared. The Emperor didn't want to see his children killing each other. Therefore, the case of the second prince's death had to be quickly closed, even if he had to find a scapegoat. Although he had killed the second prince, no one knew about it. Except for the princess, he stared into her eyes, but found no other emotions in them other than worry and sadness. She would not betray him. For some reason, this thought made his body relax. Emperors, princes, these things were still so vicious, even if there was no direct evidence to prove that he was the murderer. However, the first prince had even stolen his official badge. The emperor would definitely settle this matter carelessly. Wei Wei Bai said coldly, "I didn't think Imperial Father would directly convict you. They are coming to arrest you. Come with me immediately." Liamo was in a daze as she pulled him out of the door. There was a carriage outside. Wei Wei Bai stuffed Liamo into the carriage and followed. Then she reached out her hands and hugged him, worried that his wound would hurt the floor of the carriage. // Chapter 2297. Limo's face was leaning on her, the warmth of her touch keeping him in a daze. While the carriage was moving forward, Liamo finally heard his own incredulous voice. "You want to elope with me?" This thought had kept him in a daze since just now, because it was too inconceivable. Wei Wei Bai's hand on his back paused, hesitating for a long time before saying, "I can't go with you." Limo's excited eyes immediately cooled. Wei Wei Bai hurriedly explained, "If I leave, who will clear your name? In the future." In the future what? She kept the rest of her words in her mouth, but no one could hear her clearly. Limo's heart, full of warmth, turned cold. He coldly pursed his lips. "So you're abandoning me?" Wei Wei Bai said gloomily, "It's only a temporary departure. Imperial Father clearly wants to use you as a scapegoat. His health is deteriorating. If he was healthy, he would definitely continue to investigate. And continue to investigate. As time passed, the culprit might not be found, and no one would guess it was Liamo." The coldness in Limo's eyes turned vicious. "Ah Wei, His Majesty's health is not good. I previously obtained a pill that can bring the dead back to life. I originally wanted to use this pill to ask for His Majesty's grace." Wei Wei Bai's fingers trembled, looking down at him. "A pill that can bring the dead back to life? Like hell, I'll believe you. You're holding on to this thing, and you're willing to take it out?" Liamo pulled out an ugly smile, his eyes turning gentle, hiding the coldness in his eyes. "Yes, I wanted to use this pill to marry you." Saying so, he shyly said. Wei Wei Bai also blushed, her eyes shining brightly. Liamo forced a smile, "But I won't have the chance to offer this pill." Wei Wei Bai paused, also feeling sad. She seriously promised, "Trust me, I'll take you back when I'm done with this matter, okay?" Liamo knew she meant it, but he didn't believe her. The royal family was rotten, and these people were used to being selfish. Wei Wei Bai was also one of them. She only liked him now and coveted his youth and fresh looks. Now that she was emotional, of course, she felt that he was good. But once he left, he gave up all his power. She had placed all her hopes on her promise. Was he just going to wait for her to pick him up? Liamo smirked. He didn't want it, because who knew if she would forget him as time went by? Limo's heart was filled with dark schemes, but his smile was pure and innocent. "Ah Wei, I believe you." Then he took out the medicine from his sleeve and placed it on her palm. "Give the medicine to the Emperor to prolong his life, so that he has the energy to continue investigating. Then I will be able to clear my name." Except for Wei Wei Bai, no one knew who killed the second prince. The first prince couldn't do it either because he had no evidence. The so-called identity tag was either stolen or forged. If the emperor really wanted to investigate, he wouldn't be able to trace it back to him. Wei Wei Bai was convinced by his reasoning. All right, I will go to the palace tomorrow and give the medicine to Imperial Father. Liemo shook his head. They won't believe you. Also, the emperor can't wait that long since we can't figure out the composition of the pill. Wei Wei Bai frowned, not knowing what to do. Liemo said seductively, you can secretly give it to him. When the emperor recovers, you can say I gave it to him. To make it easier for you to read it next time, you can click save below to record this reading. Chapter 2298. Wei Wei Bai looked at him hesitantly. Liemo smiled, slowly reaching out to hold her face. His deep voice contained a smile, like a seductive vixen. Believe me, Wei, why would I harm you? Wei Wei Bai's hesitation disappeared, her eyes filled with infatuation. Liemo felt like he was an enchantress. He nervously licked his thin lips. There was no turning back. Just think of it as a great achievement for me. As long as I succeed, I can get rid of the suspicion of murder and return to your side. Wei Wei Bai was moved, her eyes filled with hope. Liemo smiled even more beautifully, knowing he had succeeded. Wei, you hope I can return to your side soon. Wei Wei Bai immediately nodded, holding the pill tightly. I will go to the palace tomorrow and let you come back. Liemo breathed a sigh of relief, but another sharp feeling took hold of his heart. He looked away, not wanting to see the trust in her eyes. As if mocking, he responded in a low voice. Yes, quickly return to your side, using the identity of a loser to send you away. Then, like a stray dog, ask you to call me back. Liemo knew what he was doing. The pill was poison. Once it was eaten, death would follow. Once the emperor died, he immediately led the 10,000 soldiers hidden outside the palace into the palace. The Imperial Guards would not be able to react that quickly, and he had been preparing for so many years, enduring for so long. No one had planned the war for the throne earlier than him. The only difficulty was the emperor's death. At first, he lured the princess, making her fight among herself, making the princes turn against each other. Finally, he found a scapegoat and stuffed the pill into the emperor's mouth. Then he could directly enter the palace and help the fourth prince ascend the throne, slaughter the rest of the princes. In the future, this world would be his. Wei Wei Bai got off the carriage halfway. She wore a veil and held the glass lamp as she watched him leave. Liemo looked at her from afar. Her petite and frail figure was lonely under the light. It was just like when she sent him away and gave him the glazed lamp. She said, Ali, I won't let you fall. Perhaps from then on, his heart had been biased towards her. He had even considered giving up on the plan and not letting her be the scapegoat who poisoned the old emperor. But Liemo's fingers clenched the curtain of the carriage. The wounds on his body were in great pain. But her power was too great. She could not be betrayed by her friends and family and be accused of crime. Then, if she refused the fourth prince's ascension to the throne, in that case, he might not be able to defeat her even with the power of the imperial court. If she had been willing to abandon everything, leave with him, elope with him, Liemo swore that he could also give up everything. But he smiled, but his smile was twisted and stiff. In the end, he buried his head in his knees and said in a trembling voice, Wei Wei Bai, I don't believe that you'll like me for a lifetime. You have too many choices, so I'm taking them all away from you. Later, she would become a sinner. He was a prisoner. In that case, she would have no choice. All she could get and see was him. Wei Wei Bai held the box of pills, her face full of bitterness and hatred. 70 favorability is so vicious. What kind of sick pervert is this? 70 favorability was a very deep affection. Although it was not to the extent of swearing an oath of eternal love, it was not to the extent of killing her. The system said, he probably thinks that you're a heartless person if you don't elope with him. Download the at https://m Sashu. Com button at the bottom to record your reading record. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.